in their black shorts, and Southampton will be from left to right as we look here at St Mary's as the referee Simon Hooper gets us underway. Almost had an interesting start to the afternoon when an elderly gentleman just towards our right decided to use my computer as an option to try and steady himself. I had to act very, very quickly there. We almost didn't have a goal service to bring in, but it's the usual goal service. And we'll keep you in touch with the goals as they go in. We've got the reporters around the grounds. Of course, a result at Valley Parade in League 2 from an early kick-off. Bradford City 2, Hartlepool United 2. John Askey has drawn all 4 of his games since he's taken charge of Hartlepool. As the ball goes back from Dyer to Fraser Forster, who of course is a former Southampton player. 134 Premier League appearances and 42 clean sheets in his 8 seasons, 2014 to 2022, from his time down here, as there's still a few late stragglers making their way into their seats here at St Mary's. There was dreadful traffic problems around the city of Southampton in the build-up to the game, as the ball goes back to Longley. And it's finished now at Sincil Bank in League 1. Lincoln City 0, Peterborough United 3 is a full-time scoreline from that early kick-off in League 1. As the ball goes long, Bednarek's header goes straight to Richarlison. Harry Kane plays it out towards the right-hand side. Porro is onto the ball and he hits a diagonal ball towards Son. Son with a first-time finish, and he hit it left-footed and it almost came off as a right angle and went away from goal. Flag had stayed down, Tony.
Yeah, it was a great pass, great run by Son as well. I thought he was offside, Ian, but like you say, the flag didn't go up.
He's netted more goals against Southampton than any other side, and the South Korean is searching for his 100th goal in the Premier League here this afternoon, as Ward-Prowse finds Stuart Armstrong in the centre circle. Now the ball is played short. Lavia, forward ball. This is El Yunusi. Perro on the overlap, falls to Stuart Armstrong, right-footed shot blocked, comes out to Ward-Prowse, and then Shea Adams threw himself at it with an outstretched left foot. 6 yards out, guides the ball behind for a goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, great first real attack from Southampton, and they had 3 opportunities, Ian, to score. Richarlison's just gone down. I think he might be injured. If you want to check on that one.
Kulusevski's going to be coming on. They're not taking any chances. Kulusevski's already been told to get stripped, so Spurs are going to be forced into an early change here. But that will certainly offer hope for Southampton. Chances at either end, really.
Yeah, like I say, 3 opportunities. The last one falling to Adams. I think Ward-Prowse strikes it from outside the box. He cuts across it really, and it lands at Adams very, very quickly. And unfortunately, his reaction, it came off his foot and went wide of the goal. Could easily have gone in, Ian.
He looks distraught, does Richarlison. He's buried his head in his blue shirt. A very emotional figure, Richarlison, and he's coming off with that injury. In fact, he's just stopped. But Richarlison being replaced by Kulusevski.
I didn't see anything, Ian, did you?
No, I didn't. Sometimes, though, that can be the worst ones, the innocuous ones.
Yeah.
And head bowed, has a word with Antonio Conte. The two of them have a brief handshake, and then he trudges off with his head down, and Richarlison goes off and Kulusevski is on. Rochdale 0, Swindon 1 is the latest score in League 2. Rochdale have only had 1 win in 11, so they've fallen behind there at Spotland. Play is back underway, but Kulusevski at the minute yet to replace Richarlison, so temporarily Tottenham Hotspur are down to 10. As the dapper figure of Ruben Celes down in that technical area with his dark blazer gives the thumbs up to one of his players, as now Kulusevski is on and Richarlison is off. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham City 1. They've lost 3 of their last 4 under Gareth Ainsworth of QPR. Birmingham only 1 win in 7, but they're ahead, and Port Vale lead Burton by a goal to 0 at Vale Park in League 1. Bouncing ball in the penalty area, Ben Davies bundles into the back of Kotchap, and the German international goes down. I think he might have taken a blow to either his elbow or his shoulder there. He's signalling something to the bench, and we've got another stoppage. It was a hefty barge in the back by
I don't know
Ben
whether
Davies.
his shoulders come out, Ian. Is it his shoulder? Again, he looks in a lot of pain there.
Dundee United are leading St Mirren by a goal to nil in the Scottish Premiership at Tannadice. There's another stoppage. Bednarek is signalling to the bench that there might need to be a change here. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service to St Mary's, the home of Southampton on the south coast. It's always a pleasure to have your company wherever you are in the world. So whilst there's a stoppage here and treatment to Kotchap, we'll go to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0 against Bournemouth. Bournemouth settling in, trying to establish some sort of rhythm. Buendia a couple of times threaded in a couple of lovely passes just short of Watkins. It's Villa 0, Bournemouth 0.
What about Wolves, Leeds United? Lee Blakeman.
0-0, but Leeds have had the game's best chance so far. Nonto and Firpo linking up well down the left. They pulled the ball back to McKennie. There's a chance here though, and a goal for Leeds early on. Great strike from Jack Harrison. It was Nonto with the pullback in from the left. Harrison was there, and that is a massive goal for Leeds United. Their fans celebrate on the far side. Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
Well, he scored a beauty last week in that 2-2 draw against Brighton and Hove Albion. 1 win in 13 for Leeds United, and what a boost that would be as they take the lead at Molineux. A Leeds United side that is just a point above Southampton in the bottom three at the start of play. What about Brentford and Leicester City? John Southall.
It's goalless, but half a chance for Brentford. It was a Jensen long throw. Brian Mbumo at the back post with a flick header well wide of the right hand post. Brentford 0, Leicester 0.
So Kotchap is going to come off. They're holding that right arm. Looks like it is probably a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, he looks in a bit of pain, doesn't he?
So to come on to replace him is Salisu. We're going back to Pat Murphy at Villa Park.
Goal for Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz 6 yards out, made by Bailey on his favourite left foot, but then he moved it to his right, which is nothing special. Somehow he threaded across there, side-footed in by Luiz. It's Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
So Villa are ahead. Leeds United are leading. Brentford and Leicester City remains 0-0. Cardiff City are 1-0 up at Rotherham in the Championship. Those are two sides who are actually just outside the relegation zone. Rotherham, who've lost their last two at Pittodrie. Aberdeen are 1-0 up at home to Hearts, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. 7.5 minutes played here at St Mary's. Leeds United looking to climb out of the relegation zone. I'm sure it will change throughout the course of the afternoon, but that goal from Jack Harrison, takes them up to 14th. But that's the nature of the Premier League at the minute, when you think that relegation picture involves teams from Crystal Palace in 12th all the way down. Kane on the stretch, couldn't get it into the path of Son. Ward-Prowse out towards Walker-Peters on this near side, the right. Still 0-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Walker-Peters, Stuart Armstrong now with Ward-Prowse, back with Bednarek. Salisu will get a touch as Salisu comes forward and plays a short diagonal ball, and Southampton are on the halfway line. In our featured game in League One at Home Park, there's been a goal. John Akers.
And it's the team in second that have taken the lead. Plymouth 1, Forest Green 0. James Bolton, header from a corner, his first goal for the club. They're off and running Argyle. Argyle 1, Forest Green 0.
Wimbledon 0, Crawley 1 is the latest score in League Two. Walcott being pooed, predictably, from the Tottenham fans because of his Arsenal connection. He decides to leave the throw-in duties to Walker-Peters. Accrington 0, MK Dons 1 is the latest score in League One. The throw's taken on the right. Walker-Peters has Stuart Armstrong, plays a ball towards Adams, to Ward-Prowse, onto his left foot, shoots low, left-footed, off-target, goal kick, and we will go into the Championship. And the man who's been absolutely outstanding the last 4 days with the Cheltenham Festival coverage, John Hunt at Stoke.
Yes, where it's 0-0 after 7 minutes. Less outstanding, Josh Sargent for Norwich, just been clean through, dillied and dallied, then was put under pressure by the defenders, and a great gilt-edged opportunity for Norwich went begging, as he put it, past the far post. Stoke 0, Norwich 0, but that was a big opportunity for Norwich.
Thank you, John. 0-0 here at St Mary's. What have you made of the opening 10 minutes, Tony?
Well, what Southampton are doing tactically, whichever side Tottenham are going down, they're bringing all their players right across the pitch. If you have a look at the opposite side of the pitch, the wing back has got Akers. The opposite wing back for Tottenham has got Akers. So any possession that Tottenham get, that they can switch play, they'll have a free man with a lot of space to attack him.
That's the voice of Tony Pulis here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app as well, as Lavia tries to switch play out towards Perrault on the left, but it didn't have the distance, the power. It was easily intercepted by Tottenham. Kulusevski now is forward on that right-hand side. Ben Davies making a late run into the penalty area on this near side. Now it goes inside towards Son, squeezes it through to Hotspur. Hotspur, of course, a former Saint. The ball played forward and it was overhit by Harry Kane, actually in a deep position, and through towards Bazunu.
Yeah, I think the thing is that Southampton are really narrowing in as a four, and the two wide players for Southampton have to look after the wing backs from Tottenham. So they're going to have to do a lot of work today in respect of turnovers. When Tottenham turn them over, there is a lot of space wide.
Burton have equalised at Port Vale in League One. Port Vale 1, Burton Albion 1. There is a pocket of blue sky in the distance, but actually light rain is falling and sweeping across St Mary's as Theo Walcott was caught in an offside position. Back to Lee Blakeman at Molineux.
Wolves should be level, still Wolves 0, Leeds 1. Podence's just burst into the area. Good save by the legs of Meslier to deny him. Neto with the follow-up. That was cleared away from just in front of the line. Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
Get an update from the Six Nations. France against Wales. Claire Thomas.
22 minutes gone in Paris, but nothing since that early flurry. 7 apiece, and Wales giving a fine account of themselves up against a star-studded and favoured French team.
Ball up to Son. Sports Extra for coverage of that, by the way. No sports report tonight. 5 o'clock. Ireland looking for the Grand Slam against England. Full commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live. 12 minutes played. Still 0-0. El Yunusi right of the centre circle, out towards Stuart Armstrong. Stuart Armstrong slowly drifting in off this near touch line. Lavia outside the centre circle of the Tottenham half, leaves it to Ward-Prowse. Derby 0, Fleetwood 1 is the latest score in League One. Derby have fallen behind. They're actually unbeaten in 12 at home, but have conceded an early goal there against Scott Brown's side. Back it goes to Bednarek at the heart of the Southampton defence. Runs forward, over the halfway line he comes, but it's been given away to Son. Runs in field. The referee has to duck. They get it out towards Kulusevski, strikes his heels. That holds him up fractionally. Now coming forward, almost level with the penalty area. Porro is in support behind him. Pedro Porro back out to Kulusevski. Now towards Skip. Midway through the Southampton half. That ball was an awkward one to control for Longley around knee height, but he got it out towards Hotspur on this near side, the left. Spurs are in all royal blue, in all ultra blue, I should say, as Hotspur plays the ball back. 13 minutes played. And after that little flurry that we had where Son had a chance and then Adams at the other end, it's gone a little bit quiet.
Yeah, very much so. But like I say, looking at the game from the position we're at, the space Ian is on the opposite side. If both teams can recognise that, then that's where the space is.
Well, El Yunusi is running forward. He's got a little bit of space towards Walker-Peters at the moment on this near side, the right. El Yunusi has then gone back into a central area. Perrault is forward. Certainly, if they can switch it to the left, he's quite high up the left back at the moment. And here is Perrault. But they've doubled up on him. Goes back towards Ward-Prowse, inside to El Yunusi. Diagonal ball back out towards Perrault. His cross is charged down behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, switch of play for both teams, will work very, very well today, because both teams are playing very, very tight and narrow inside the pitch. So if they get into midfield on one side and switch it quickly, there'll be great opportunities for both the full-backs or wing-backs to run down the pitch, Ian.
Great support from Tottenham Hotspur. Packed out that away end as that light rain continues to fall here on the south coast, but the sun is now shining, and it's a corner kick to Southampton, far side the left. We're in the 15th minute and it's still 0-0. Ward-Prowse to take it, left arm aloft, plays it out, looking towards Perro on the edge of the area. Kulusevski got his foot to divert the ball away. Walker-Peters has hit it back long into the penalty area, and Romero has ducked underneath it, and it goes out of play for a goal kick. And we'll go back to Brentford and John Southall.
Brentford 0, Leicester 0, but Brentford looking good here. Ivan Toney with the header from 6 yards, couldn't quite get the purchase on it, deflected off a defender, and Wiese just a moment ago with a curling shot straight to the keeper Everson. Brentford 0, Leicester 0.
Hartlepool United picked up a precious point on their travels, 2-2 at Valley Parade against Bradford City in the early game in League 2, but it looks bleak for Rochdale. They've just fallen further behind at Spotland. Rochdale 0, Swindon 2, and also in that division Salford are leading Doncaster Rovers by a goal to nil. This is the Premier League, where Aston Villa are leading Bournemouth by a goal to nil. Leeds are 1-0 up at Wolves. Brentford Leicester is goalless, as you've just heard, and no goals here at St Mary's, as Harry Kane can't control the ball, goes underneath his foot, and then Salisu plays it forward. Now Perro gets a little touch. Ward-Prowse takes over. Ward-Prowse plays it back out towards the Southampton left back, who backpedals his way towards the to the touchline. Inside now to the England international. Lavia, the young Belgian, plays the ball out towards Walker-Peters, a little bit of room to run into, and then he cuts the ball in field, but it was actually behind Stuart Armstrong and straight to Højbjerg. France-Wales in the Six Nations, Claire Thomas.
Yes, and for the first time in Paris, France have gone ahead through the boot of Thomas Ramos. The hosts won a penalty at the line-out. He slotted things, and they lead 10 points to 7 with 25 minutes gone.
Thanks, Claire. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. 16 minutes played. Bright sunshine now. There'll be a rainbow somewhere. It's bright sunshine, the rain falling. I think I went in search of a rainbow today, didn't I? Or the end of one. Well, that 6-mile hike that you forced me on this morning. As Harry Kane controlled the ball, bounces up towards Son, heads out in field. Kulusevski, Porro's in here if you can play him in. Plays it a little bit too behind him, but Porro gets the shot away. Just held him up a fraction.
As I said, Ian, if both teams can switch the ball quickly, and they're brave enough, the wing backs are brave enough to really push up and push on, then the opportunity and the chances will come, definitely.
Doncaster Rovers have equalised at Salford in League 2. Salford 1, Doncaster Rovers 1, and Miles Leeburn, he was on target in midweek for Charlton. He scored again at Cambridge United. Cambridge United 0, Charlton Athletic 1, 17 minutes played. Salisu out to Perro on that left-hand side. His forward ball will reach Adams. He's inside the Southampton half. He turns, tries to wriggle away, does well. El Yunusi, forward ball, flag stays down, that looked tight. Walcott into the penalty area. Walcott forces a save out of Fraser Forster. Late flag, then it goes up.
Ian, why do they leave it that late? Why do they leave it that late?
Under instruction.
Yeah, but the goalkeeper could get injured. You know, there's people colliding with the goal. He makes the save, then people colliding with the goalkeeper afterwards. You know, that second phase they talk about, you know, people could get injured. He's offside. Put your flag up.
It was Forster made the save. Of course, with VAR these days, you just never know.
No, you don't.
As we might well find out throughout the course of the afternoon. Cheltenham are leading Exeter by a goal to nil in League 1.
If he gets it.
Højbjerg does switch it, and Perro is forward. It was a good diagonal ball sprayed out towards that far side, the right, and the last touch off Salisu. Spurs have a corner far side, the right.
Yeah, I'm sure Antonio and the Tottenham manager, the Spurs manager, Tottenham, Southampton manager will be telling them that space is wide.
Corner's taken short. Kulusevski with the cross, and Dyer got up, and Dyer headed it wide. He was 8 yards out and put it wide of the left-hand post. 0-0.
Yeah, Southampton got caught sleeping there. Tottenham sent 2 out, and Southampton weren't ready for it. It was a great opportunity, great chance.
Southampton, would you believe, do have something in common with the leaders of the Premier League, Arsenal, that they are the only 2 teams in the top flight who've got more points away from home than at home. They'd love to be in Arsenal's position.
You spent all last night looking at that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. 13 points on their travels for Southampton, 9 only at home. Arsenal have picked up 34 on their travels and 32 at home. Southampton with El Yunusi. No other goals to tell you about around the country, but we can go to Brentford and John Southall.
Brentford 0, Leicester 0, but better from Leicester. 2 chances. Harvey Barnes on the left of the area, curled it wide of the right hand post, and just a moment ago Daka with a header wide of that same post. Brentford 0, Leicester 0.
Walker-Peters back with Ward-Prowse in field. Very quiet St Mary's at the moment, as Walker-Peters is invited to come forward and feeds it now into the path of Walcott, making that run out towards the right side of the penalty area. His cross is headed away firmly by Eric Dyer, and it's a Southampton throw. Southampton throw on this near side, the right. That light drizzle has almost stopped. Walker-Peters, though, in the bright sunshine, doesn't really have a great deal of movement. He finds Stuart Armstrong, who takes it away and wins a corner as Højbjerg touches the ball behind.
Yeah, both teams have been positive. There's, the set-up plays are good, and they're looking for runners. And there's definitely space down the sides of the full-backs or the wing-backs for Southampton to exploit. So there's space to get in behind teams, Ian, and that always leads to opportunities and chances.
Bristol Rovers, who without a win in 5 at home, have fallen behind. Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1, Ipswich leads Shrewsbury by 1-0, and it's Blackpool 0, Coventry City 1 in the Championship. Lavia with a corner kick, right-footed, goes very, very deep. On the stretch was Bednarek, headed away then by Romero. Kulusevski loses out, goes to ground far too easily, and Perro plays it forward for Southampton on that left touchline. Still 0-0 here at St Mary's. Ball played back, Ward-Prowse plays a ball along the ground, edge of the area, finds Stuart Armstrong, does a 360-degree turn, left corner of the box, Perro in support, plays it ahead of him, El Yunusi fires it across and patted down at his near post by Fraser Forster.
Yeah, good play. They control and pass the ball really well, Southampton. It's just that, all season I think it's just been that final 30, and they've not been able to be clinical in that final third.
Going to get another update from Claire, watching France-Wales and the Six Nations.
Les Bleus have finally started to find their feet, and they're now lead by 6 in Paris. They welcome back gigantic prop Uini Atonio this week, who just won them a second scrum penalty, which Thomas Ramos nudged over. France 13, Wales 7 with 7 minutes left on the half.
That's Claire Thomas. Commentary of that is on Sports Extra. Aberdeen have got a second at home to Hearts. 2-0 they lead then in the Scottish Premiership at Pittodrie. Stuart Armstrong strokes the ball inside. Lavia and Walker-Peters exchange the ball. Kilmarnock leading St Johnstone at Rugby Park by 1-0. As Salisu plays it out towards Perro, back inside to Ward-Prowse. They're playing really in front of Tottenham at the moment. We're midway through the first half and it still remains 0-0, as it does at Brentford against Leicester City. Wolves 0, Leeds United 1, Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0. The other latest scores in the Premier League on FA Cup quarter-final weekend, as Walcott gets away from Dyer, sends over the cross, flick away by Skip. Back heels the ball on the edge of his penalty area as he entered his own box. Antonio Conte cuts a frustrated figure. He's dispensed with the jacket, all in black down below. Perro, Southampton seeing a lot of the ball here with Ward-Prowse. Lavia back with Ward-Prowse once again, looking to try and orchestrate something. That goal has been disallowed incidentally at Rugby Park. It's back goalless between Killy and St Johnstone. Ward-Prowse now to Stuart Armstrong. Stuart Armstrong holds onto the ball, drifts a little bit out towards that left-hand side, passes it towards Perro. But at the minute, Spurs have kept their shape and Southampton can't get past them, as Salisu will come forward out of defence and then runs into trouble. And now it's with Kulusevski, and Kulusevski looking towards Harry Kane. He's onside. Son's going through the middle. Harry Kane, right-hand side, looks up. Son looks to come back. Harry Kane will go it alone. Got the shot away left-footed, and it was blocked.
Yeah, he was all through by himself then, Harry. I think he stopped crossing it because I think he thought Son was offside.
There's been a goal at the Riverside. Betty Glover.
It's Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0. It's been coming. They've had most of the possession and finally got a breakthrough on the counter-attack. Some great play. Cameron Archer finding Chuba Akpom in the area, who tapped it into the back of the net for his 21st goal of the season. It's Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0.
And those 21 goals have come now in 23 games under Michael Carrick.
Unbelievable record.
So Middlesbrough looking to try and take advantage of Sheffield United, who are of course involved in an FA Cup quarter-final tomorrow at midday. There'll be commentary of that on BBC Radio 5 Live, as the ball from Skip out towards Ben Davies. Ben Davies, will he keep the ball in play? Yes, he will on this near side, the left, down by the corner flag. 24 minutes played, still 0-0. Davies back to Son. Son inside. Højbjerg plays the ball back out to Son. He's got past Stuart Armstrong there, and he fires over the cross. It'll come to Porro. Porro on the volley, left-footed, couldn't keep it down. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, great stretch of play from Tottenham, and then they build up from there. Then both sides are finding space in behind, up the sides of their centre halves, and they had another great opportunity.
And that's something that you identified early on.
If you just look at it, Ian, both teams are really, really playing defensively tight and narrow inside the pitch and allowing the opposition the space out wide. So if it's like that, then the midfield players have really got to dictate the play by getting the ball and switching it quickly.
It remains 0-0 here. What's the latest France-Wales? Claire Thomas.
France's forwards might have gotten the lead, but it's their backs who've just extended it via a perler. They lead by 13. Deft handling, barn-storing run from skipper Antoine Dupont, and then coast to coast to Jonathan Danty. Ramos converts in off the uprights. France 20, Wales 7, 4 minutes until half-time.
Commentary on Sports Extra of that one. After the football, Ireland, England, that's where we'll be based, in Dublin. Sure, the atmosphere as the Irish look for the Grand Slam. St Patrick's Day yesterday. Could be one hell of a party in Dublin.
Yep. There's one you're missing out on, Ian.
Yeah.
Look at the space again, Ian.
Yeah.
Oldberg he's worked it out.
Ball out to Porro on that right-hand side. And then Kulusevski's done well away from Salisu. And the cross came in. Took a deflection and into the side netting behind for a corner kick.
Southampton are going to have to deal with this because the switch of play is far, far too easy. And it's giving Tottenham the opportunity to run down the pitch and create opportunities in the final third.
Notice that Hibs are down to 10 men at Celtic. 0-0 it remains at Parkhead. Earlier, of course, Rangers won 4-2 at Fir Park against Motherwell. Corner kick then to Tottenham Hotspur, still 0-0. We're in the 27th minute here. Son to take it, an outswinger from the right-hand side, headed away by Salisu, comes to Højbjerg, lets the ball settle, plays the ball back then to Skip, and now passes it out. There's an injury to a Southampton player, so the referee Simon Hooper has stopped play. Remains 0-0. Let's get news of that sending off from Celtic. Connie McLaughlin.
Yeah, it was an innocuous yellow card, second yellow card, innocuous foul in the middle of the park for Ellie Yoon, the Hibernian player. So Hibernian now down to 10 men. Lee Johnson, their manager, will be furious because they're under enough pressure as it is, because Celtic are swarming forward at every opportunity. Diogo had a chance, Jota had a chance, Daiz Maeda had a chance, but each one of them saved very well by David Marshall, still goalless at the moment.
Well, Rangers win earlier on in that 12:30 kickoff. Reduces Celtic's lead at the top before they started their play to 6 points after that Rangers 4-2 win against Motherwell. Latest scores: Northampton lead Crewe by 1-0 in League 2. Also in that division, Newport have taken the lead at Prenton Park. Tranmere 0, Newport 1. Rochdale staged a remarkable comeback against Swindon. Rochdale 2, Swindon 2. Bottom of the table, Rochdale. And whilst their treatment is still being applied here and there's a lengthy stoppage, we'll go to Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves 0, Leeds 1. Wolves should be level though. Great cross from the left from Kilman. It found Semedo at the back post. Great block to deny him. It really was. And Ian, you wanted a rainbow down on the south coast. We've got two at the moment here in the West Midlands. Lucky Oldos. Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
Thank you, Lee. Still yet to resume here at St Mary's. Tony.
Yeah, you've got the coach down there now, speaking to the Southampton players here, and I'm sure he's showing them the space that they've got, because the space wide is killing them at the moment. Whether he's asking the wingers to drop back in and play half and half against the wing backs, or whether he wants the full backs to drop out on the opposite side, I'm not sure, but they have to make a decision on this, because Tottenham will get in every time, every opportunity.
Bednarek seems to be in a real discomfort in the penalty area. They've already lost Kotchap, who was replaced by Salisu. Bednarek is at the minute on his knees, but the two physios attending to him and you'd have to really worry for him at the minute, because the Polish international is struggling. It remains 0-0 as we approach the half hour. We've heard from Lee at Molineux. Brentford, Leicester City, John Southall.
Same scoreline here, Brentford 0, Leicester 0, but a second chance for Leicester for Patson Daka on the edge of the 6-yard box, just leaning back, clipped it over the bar, and Brian Mbeumo at the other end has just whipped a shot over the bar from the right of the area. Brentford 0, Leicester 0.
Bednarek, of course, is back on his feet. He did have 4 appearances at Aston Villa on loan, but it wasn't a happy experience for him. Villa against Bournemouth today. Pat Murphy.
Still 1-0 to Villa, but Bournemouth in it. Solanke, a major thorn in the flesh as Villa's defenders insist on faffing around with the ball rather than clearing it. Billing has been booked. Isn't he always, Ian? He never quite gets there, does he? It's Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
Faffing about. What a great word to use.
Ball out to Davis. Bednarek is off the field of play. So at the minute, Ward-Prowse has actually dropped in alongside Salisu for the time being, as treatment continues to the Polish international. 30 minutes played, 0-0. Aberdeen have rattled in a third at home to Hearts at Pittodrie. Reading 0, Hull City 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Cross comes in from the right. Salisu repels that cross from the right-hand side with a firm header. He looks winded, but he looks like he's going to be able to continue, does Bednarek. He's running a lot freely, and he's going to be coming onto the field of play. As Southampton now come forward, and Southampton are back to their full quota. But they've lost the ball, and Ben Davies plays it forward, and Harry Kane holds off Lavia. Harry Kane shrugs off the Belgian a second time. Kulusevski, right corner of the area. Porro on the overlap, infield, and cleared away then by Salisu. We'll dip back into the Championship. Stoke City, John Hunt.
It's still 0-0 here, half an hour gone, but only because of Angus Gunn's heroics in the Norwich City goal. 3 great saves in 3 minutes, 1 from Will Smallbone and 2 from really close range when Jacob Brown was the favourite to score. Angus Gunn at the moment keeping Norwich in this. Stoke 0, Norwich 0.
There wasn't a great deal of faffing about when you were the manager of Stoke.
Especially at the back.
Tranmere 0, Newport 2, Cambridge 0, Charlton 2, Derby County 0, Fleetwood 2 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date in the football. Half-time in the Six Nations. France, Wales. Claire Thomas.
A brave and bright start from Wales, but France are now showing just why they're still technically contenders in this Six Nations and lead 20-7 at half-time in Paris. Tries from Penaud and Danty and 10 points from the boot of Ramos. It's a strong start for Les Bleus.
Second half will be on Sports Extra. Every time that there is a player getting forward in space, down the with that switch of play, I get a dig in the ribs from Tony. Ben Davies sent over across. Harry Kane had his shot blocked. Southampton clear. Ward-Prowse comes forward, and the challenge comes in on Ward-Prowse, and it takes the ball from Romero behind for a corner kick to Southampton. 13 minutes to go to half time, 0-0.
Yeah, the Southampton Bednarek is down again.
So he's not going to be able to continue, is he? Whatever the problem was, he's tried to continue.
Whether he's cracked the rib or whatever, Ian, I'm not sure. It doesn't look as though he's going to carry on in this game.
Stockport 1, Mansfield 0 is the latest score in League 2. We could have, at this rate, we could have about another 10 minutes of added on time in the first half. We've had 3 lengthy interruptions here. Hasn't helped the game, has it, as a spectacle?
No, not at all. But it does give you the opportunity, or give the manager the opportunity to make a few adjustments, especially for Southampton, because otherwise, Ian, Tottenham will create a chance and score.
It's no longer goalless at Brentford. John Southall.
Brentford have the lead. Brentford 1, Leicester City 0. Matthias Jensen with his 5th goal of the season. All of them here went through a crowd of players. Just want to see this again, whether the goalkeeper Iversen is at fault. It's just played onto the edge of the penalty area. The shot comes in from Jensen. Oh, they might be looking at it for offside as well. VAR might look at this one. But it is Brentford leading by a goal to 0, but we will have this checked.
Thank you, John. So Southampton have lost both of their central defenders that started the game. So Salisu has already come on to replace Kotchap. Bednarek is unable to continue. Maitland-Niles, on loan from Arsenal, has come onto the field of play. He too is booed by the Spurs support. Leyton Orient lead Colchester by a goal to 0 in League 2. So the leaders of Leyton Orient are ahead. In comes that corner from the left-hand side, flicked on by Porro, and then a slice clearance by Skip, and it goes out of play for a throw. Update from Middlesbrough now with Betty Glover.
Still Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0. Middlesbrough looks so threatening in front of goal. Nearly went 2-0 up. Marcus Force in on goal, passed it back to Cameron Archer, who was unmarked but missed it. Good chance though, and actually just moments ago Chuba Akpom took a shot from distance, but it was well saved. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0.
That would take them to within 3 points of Sheffield United, although Paul Heckingbottom's side would have a game in hand. I'm told that goal does stand at Brentford, so Brentford do lead Leicester City by 1-0. Aston Villa still lead Bournemouth by 1-0. Wolves 0, Leeds United 1, and it remains goalless here at St Mary's. Salisu with a switch of play back out towards the right hand side. Walker-Peters beaten in the air by Ben Davis. Out of play it goes for a Southampton throw, level with the penalty area. Walker-Peters takes that throw quickly to Stuart Armstrong, back to Walker-Peters just in from the touchline, dinks the ball forward off the head of Adams, volleys the ball across from the right hand side, and for a moment there Ben Davis had actually dropped to his knee. Harry Kane gets a handball appeal in his favour, but Davis is now gone down. My word. They want to go for a walk with you. That would have sorted them out, wouldn't it?
You know what the disappointing thing is? It's all defenders.
Yeah.
How the world has changed.
Let's get an update from, not from Middlesbrough, we'll go a little bit further up the A19 to Wearside and Chris Coles.
Where it is, Sunderland 0, Luton 0. Bright start to this game, half chances for both. Elijah Adebayo and Dan Neil unable to finish from good positions, the latter hitting the post. Since then, the intensity has dropped considerably. Sunderland 0, Luton 0.
I think the editors thought when Ireland-England commentary starts at 5 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live, because it's normally been 4:45, they'll be thinking, well, there's no chance of the football crashing into the rugby on this occasion.
It will do.
It will do at this rate. Let's get an update from Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Millwall 0, Huddersfield 0. The home side looking most likely to break the deadlock here. Zian Fleming has driven a shot just wide of the goalkeeper's post. That is about it though, Ian. Millwall 0, Huddersfield 0.
Blackpool have equalised at home to Coventry City in the Championship. Blackpool 1, Coventry City 1. What about at Vicarage Road? Flo Pollock.
Watford 0, Wigan 0. So Wigan slowing the game down, trying to frustrate Watford. And Watford have had plenty of touches in the attacking third, but barely really tested the goalkeeper. It's still Watford 0, Wigan 0.
And we'll get an update from our featured game in League 2. It's at Brunton Park. Shojo Saka.
Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0. It started okay, but this game has deteriorated into quite a poor match, really. Joe Garner has had the ball in the net for Carlisle, but he was clearly offside. Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0.
Well, Southampton have been forced into 2 changes, and now Tottenham have been forced into 2 changes because they lost Richarlison in the 3rd minute, and now Ben Davis has had to be replaced by Ivan Perisic, the Croatian international as well. So it actually only gives both managers now one more opportunity to make a change away from half-time. Son with a shot. That was out of nothing. Left-footed, just wide.
That was a great effort. You know, a little step over onto his left foot, just outside the box, and it just scraped past the far post. Great effort from Son.
We haven't really had much goalmouth action, have we?
No, but the teams have got in behind one another very, very well and got him switch play. Well, Tottenham has switch played really, really well. We haven't had a goal yet, and I don't want to jinx it, but I think there is goals in this game here.
Livingston 1, Ross County 0, the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Certainly. Oh no, not another one. I tell you what, someone's been jinxed. That was Son. You heard the groan from the crowd, a collective groan as another player had.
But we haven't seen a bad challenge, have we?
No, he's not running freely at the minute, Son. He was just. Now he is. That was a misplaced pass by Lavia. Eventually we will reach half time. That was a foul throw, so it'll go in favour of Southampton. Let's get an update from Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves 0, Leeds 1. Jack Harrison, the goal scorer, is currently receiving treatment. Wolves have been excellent. Neves has just had a curler from 25 yards out. He likes them from distance. This time just wide of the top corner with Meslier at full stretch. Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
Certainly could do with a goal.
We can always do with a goal, Ian.
Lavia back with Bazunu. Right-footed. Ball goes long. Perisic heads it forward. Son tries to get on the end of it. Headed back to the Croatian from Lavia. It's like head tennis at the moment. Eventually it comes down to the ground. Walker-Peters gets away from Højbjerg. Plays it then to Stuart Armstrong. He's looking for the run of Walcott. He's found Walcott. Dyer has gone with him. Right side of the penalty area with a ball that is turned behind by Romero for a corner kick to Southampton.
Yeah, great defending there. Again, he's questioning the linesman to see if Walcott was offside. I think he was onside here, and I don't think he was offside. I think he was onside. And it was a good cross. Very, very good defending.
Livingston 2, Ross County 0. So 2 goals in the space of 60 seconds for Livy. Gives them control over Ross County. 0-0 here. We've got 5 minutes remaining of normal time, but at least 6 minutes surely of stoppage time, you would think. Corner taken short. Ward-Prowse then swings it over from the right. Salisu with the header, and it was dropping. And did that go behind? It did. Fraser Forster's carried it behind. It's going to be another corner to Saints.
Yeah, it was again a short corner worked, played back to Ward-Prowse, who crossed it to the back post. Good header. I didn't think it was going in, Ian, but Foster had to make sure.
So it's going to be a corner kick to Southampton, which Ward-Prowse is going to take on this near side, the right, playing from left to right as we look here at St Mary's. Ward-Prowse, you would think this would be an outswinger, still goalless. Left arm aloft, in front of the strong travelling support, fired in, header from Salisu.
Salisu, he's got to do better than that. He's all by himself. It's a great ball in no challenge, under no pressure whatsoever, and he heads it 8 yards over the bar. He's got to do better than that.
Kilmarnock, who had a goal disallowed through VAR at Rugby Park, have now taken the lead. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 0. Salisu, the substitute, playing alongside his fellow substitute Maitland-Niles now in the centre of that Southampton defence as the forward ball from Tottenham, and Bazunu clears away from the onrushing Kulusevski, and now there is a knock to the head from Walcott, and getting himself slowly but surely back to his feet is Longley, but holding his face, and yet another stoppage. It really has been stop, start, stop, start. Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Pat Murphy.
Still Villa leading 1-0, having a good couple of minutes here. Stevens, a tremendous block on Bailey's goal-bound shot. Watkins tried to chip Nita on the 1-on-1, a good block by the Bournemouth keeper. It's Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
Motherwell 2, Rangers 4 was the result earlier on. We know that Hibs are down to 10 men. There has been a goal. Connie McLaughlin.
This wasn't in the script because it's Hibernian who've taken the lead. So it was Paul Hanlon who had his jersey tugged by Carol Starfelt, the Celtic defender, after the corner. VAR intervened, said it was penalty. Josh Campbell stepped up and rolled it into the back of the net to the left-hand side of Joe Hart. Celtic 0, Hibernian 1.
Certainly an interesting development there. Salford 2, Doncaster 1 is the latest score in League 2. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. Ball goes back by Lavia. Southampton clear. Bazunu, the keeper clears. Adams with a little flick on. Son running back into his own half. Morecambe 0, Oxford United 1 is a latest score. Liam Manning was appointed during the week, so that's his first game in charge. Oxford have lost 9 of their previous 10 as Son drives forward now for Spurs. Out to Perisic on this left-hand side. Perisic, left-footed cross, beaten easily, headed away by Maitland-Niles. Loose ball picked up by Højbjerg. Now towards Porro, tucked in. Kulusevski to his right corner of the area. Kulusevski with a left-footed shot that was headed away firmly by Salisu. Spurs get it back towards Porro on that right corner. He's battled for the ball well, helped out by Kulusevski. Loose ball runs away from the Southampton defence. A little bit scrappy, skip, but Spurs still have it. Under 2 minutes to go to half-time. Or at least before we see the fourth official with his electronic board. 0-0 it remains here on 5 Live and the World Service from BBC Sounds. Højbjerg chips it out towards Porro, brings it under control, right-footed, plays in a low ball, didn't beat the first man, blocked by Perro, out it goes for...
Yeah, good pressure by Tottenham at the moment, Ian.
From the throw on the right-hand side, Romero plays a short diagonal ball. Højbjerg, Kulusevski, can't get past Perro, digs it out, puts it out of play for a throw. Porro to take it on that right for Spurs, all in blue, playing from right to left, and eventually Porro will take the throw on that far side. There's gets it to Harry Kane, the return ball, slides it into the feet of Dyer with his back to the penalty area. Porro comes in off that right touchline, back towards Skip. Skip goes back to the halfway line, playing it forward. Dyer touches the ball to Skip and Dyer, and then Perrault gets a challenge in from his left back roll, and then it balloons downfield, and then Forster's hit that high and long downfield, and Perrault will head it forward for Southampton. Appealing for handball there against Romero, and given and spotted by the referee.
Spotted by the crowd over there first.
We're going to find out how much added on time there will be. This could be the most interesting aspect of the first half here. I'm going to go, I'm thinking it should be 7, but I was at 6. What was my initial reaction? 6. But it should be 7 or 8, the amount of stoppages that we've had. If you're listening to the rugby coverage, Ireland, England, you'll be hoping it's no more than 6. But we'll find out very, very soon. This has been at times turgid to watch. 0-0. Southampton against Tottenham Hotspur here on 5 Live. Ball up towards Son, lays it off towards Kane.
Tottenham will score soon, Ian, if they keep this up. They'll get the opportunity.
It's Porro on that left-hand side. It is 7 minutes. There we go. So I was right.
Hold on a minute. You said 6, then you went 7, and then you went back to 6. God,
yeah.
No.
I've been spending too much time in your company. I change it.
Yeah.
A little bit like you on the golf course.
Yeah.
Was that a 6 or a 7, Tony?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Here is Son. Diagonal ball. He's played in Porro. Porro unmarked in the penalty area. Porro hammers the ball in. Porro scores his first goal for Tottenham Hotspur, and he lashed the ball in. Acres of space. Southampton's defence was cut apart, and Spurs lead by 1-0.
Well,
you called it.
Yeah, it's a crossfield ball again that leaves the wing back in so much space. You know what, Ian? He's collected that ball, 5 yards inside the penalty box, without a Southampton player anywhere near him, and he's finished it with aplomb off the underside of the bar, smashed it in. And it's only what Tottenham, I think, deserve over the last 10 minutes, because they've really pinned Southampton back.
It was a diagonal ball from Son, and coming onto it, he was able to get the first touch with his right foot, and then it was an unstoppable hit.
Yeah, but look at the space he's got.
In off the underside of the crossbar, and Tottenham Hotspur lead by 1-0. There's been a goal in the Championship. It's at Vicarage Road. Flo Pollock.
Watford take the lead. It's Watford 1, Wigan 0, and the goal scorer, Keenan Davis, into the box and roofed it into the top of the net. Watford 1, Wigan 0.
That goal coming in first half stoppage time. The Spurs fans are singing it going down with the West Ham. Certainly it's a blow for Southampton, who are going to have to show certainly a lot more going forward.
Yeah, they play some neat, tidy football at times, but that final 30, and they just don't look as though they've got a goal in them. I hope I'm proved wrong. Being from down this area, I want Bournemouth and Southampton to stay up if possible, but they're certainly going to have to up their game.
Reading have equalised at home to Hull City in the Championship. Andy Carroll has got that goal just before half-time. Reading 1, Hull 1. So we've had a goal now in every game in the Premier League. Villa lead Bournemouth by 1-0. Brentford are 1-0 up against Leicester City. Wolves 0, Leeds United 1, and it's 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur here. And still to come, Chelsea against Everton. Because of the rugby, we've got commentary at 5. So the first half of Chelsea-Everton with John Murray and Pat Nevin will be on Sports Extra, and then once the rugby's finished, Ireland in their pursuit of the Grand Slam, then the second half will be on BBC Radio 5 Live. And tomorrow it's an 11:30 start ahead of Sheffield United Blackburn in the FA Cup quarter-final from midday. Arsenal Palace at 2 in the Premier League. Brentford Grimsby is on Sports Extra from 2:15, and then the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at 5. So a lot of live sport to look forward to on BBC Radio 5 Live. But Tottenham Hotspur lead by 1-0, and in the 7 minutes of added on time, Southampton have a free kick, far side, the left.
The thing is, Ian, is that if you look at Tottenham, they're zonal, and there's pockets and space in between the players, and if I was managing, I'd be getting the players to run at them Walker Peters just had an effort that's just gone over the bar from the edge of the box. But just going back to my point, there is space in between the zonal markers, and if you pull out and have a run, a running jump against a standing jump wins all the time. It's just putting the ball in there and getting those people to attack across those areas. You keep plugging away with the quality of Ward-Prowse putting those crosses in, and I think you would get chances.
Ball's been given away. Comes to El Yunusi. Romero got the block in on the edge of the area. That was a little bit sloppy from Tottenham. And as Tony says, Walker Peters from the corner that was taken short fired one over from the edge of the area. But Fraser Forster, he did save from Theo Walcott earlier on, but Walcott was offside at that time. It was a late flag. Other than that, I really can't recall the former Southampton keeper being extended.
No, not at all. And like I say, they played some nice, neat and tidy football, Southampton, but without that cutting edge, and I think that's been the story all season for them.
Well, as the half-time scores are coming in on the old video printer, Coventry City are back in front at Bloomfield Road in the Championship. Blackpool 1, Coventry City 2. Here we are at St Mary's on the south coast, where Tottenham Hotspur are leading by 1-0. And Pedro Porro, on loan from Sporting Lisbon, on his 7th appearance, scoring his first goal for Tottenham to give Antonio Conte's side the lead. As the ball is with El Yunusi, turns along the ground out towards Walker Peters on the halfway line, held up by Perisic, and he's forced to retreat.
He's been a top pro, Perisic, top professional.
Hasn't contributed as many goals as he did last year for Inter. Scored 10 goals last year. As Dyer, a little bit of hesitation from Fraser Forster off his line. Dyer was waiting for him and then had to take action and turn the ball out of play for a throw on the Southampton left. Perisic,
that all comes from Adams working his socks off and putting them under pressure, and Southampton need more of that in the final third.
Here is Stuart Armstrong running left-hand side, delivers the ball, and a diving header behind by Dyer, tumbling inside his 6-yard box to head the ball behind for a corner kick. A little bit better from Southampton.
Yeah, they've had a good spell the last couple of minutes with a couple of opportunities in. But if you can look, Tottenham was sat there. There's loads of pockets that if Southampton pulled out and then made runs across, they stood up against them.
Ward-Prowse has taken the corner short again on that left-hand side. Then the ball goes back. Little touch from Walcott. Ward-Prowse left-hand side of the box with his back to goal. Out of the penalty area. Armstrong can't deliver the cross. The block from Højbjerg. Spurs defending well at this stage, but another corner kick to Southampton, who are looking for an equaliser here at St Mary's on BBC Radio 5 Live. The short option is available with Stuart Armstrong and Walker Peters, but it's curled in, fisted out, two-handed by Forster, and then the ball played out by Longley. And we will go there. That is the half-time whistle, so I'll leave the directional duties to Mark Chapman. Porro with a goal in stoppage time. Your thoughts, Tony Pulis?
Yeah, it's been played really between both boxes. I've always thought that Spurs had the edge, and especially with the wide players. I think Southampton have not dealt with that switch very well. And if you're the manager and you're looking at, they got video analysis and pictures at half time, I'd be seriously looking at that, because it's too easy for Tottenham to get in.
The team with the worst home record in the Premier League are trailing yet again here at St Mary's. It's Southampton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1 at half time.
And another side trailing at home at the break are Wolves. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves 0, Leeds 1. Jack Harrison's goal after 6 minutes separates the teams. Nonto with the ball from the left. Harrison totally unmarked on the penalty spot, buried it past Sarr. Awful defending from Wolves. Since then, though, Wolves have been decent. Podence denied by Meslier. Semedo and Neves have gone close too. They've had a penalty appeal waved away by VAR, and all of Wolves' home wins this season in the Premier League have involved them keeping a clean sheet. They've not got one today, so some serious work to do. At half-time, Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
The other side in the bottom three are behind at the break. Bournemouth at Aston Villa. Pat Murphy.
Villa lead 1-0. Early goal from Louise after good work by Bailey. They've gone close a couple of times. Neto's been excellent, but up front Bournemouth are still causing Villa a few problems, and Villa do over-elaborate rather too much in their last 30 yards in defence. There's always a chance here for Bournemouth, but Villa lead 1-0 at half-time.
And let's go to Brentford next. They lead at the break. John Southall.
They do. Brentford 1, Leicester 0. A normal home service from Brentford. The goal scored by Matthias Janssen. His shot from the right of the area took a big deflection off Pereira on its way past Everson, who stood no chance in the Leicester goal. So another game without a clean sheet for Leicester. They've had a couple of chances. Barnes curled one wide and Daka headed wide at the near post and also clipped over from 6 yards. But Brentford have been the dominant team, and the daunting stat is Brentford unbeaten in all 23 Premier League games in which they've scored first. Brentford 1, Leicester 0.
Speaking of dominant, let's go to Claire Thomas watching France-Wales.
France are one away from the bonus point try they need if they want to remain in the hunt for the Six Nations crown and lead Wales by 20 in Paris. The latest score was started by the scampering brilliance of Antoine Dupont and finished by the behemoth Uini Atonio. Half an hour to go and all the momentum with the hosts right now. France 27, Wales 7. And as I say that, France are over. That is the bonus point. Paris are up 32 to France and only 7 to a desperate Wales.
Sports Extra to listen to that. The top two in the Championship, Burnley and Sheffield United, both in FA Cup quarter-final action this weekend. So can Middlesbrough in third close the gap? Betty Glover.
It's looking good. Middlesbrough 1, Preston 0. Borough dominated this first half early doors with most of the possession and finally got a breakthrough thanks to Cameron Archer linking up with Chuba Akpom, who tapped it home for his 21st goal of the season. It means he scored 21 goals in 23 games, Mark. Borough looks so threatening. The front four work so well together. Villaloni, Archer especially dangerous. Glimmer of hope though for Preston just before the break. 2 chances in quick succession, but they were well saved by Stefan in goal. They're not out of this yet. It's Borough 1, Preston 0.
Goalless at the Stadium of Light. Chris.
Yeah, and yet to really get going this one, Mark. Sunderland 0, Luton 0. Promising flourishes, but they haven't provided the catalyst to greater things. Sunderland have hit a post. Dan Neil from range. Patrick Roberts, plenty of slaloming runs from him, pretty to watch, but no end product. A scuffed Elijah Adebayo effort from the edge of the box representing Luton's best moment. Room for improvement. Sunderland 0, Luton 0.
Aaron Paul hasn't seen a goal either.
No, Millwall have been dominant here, but as ever this season have lacked a cutting edge. It is 0-0. Andres Vogel, Zamazian Fleming and George Saville have all had efforts on the Huddersfield goal, with Jack Radoni testing George Long at the other end. One worrying note for Neil Warnock: Martin Waghorn has gone off injured. He's been replaced by Danny Ward. At the break, Millwall 0, Huddersfield 0.
It's another one of those afternoons because it's goalless at Stoke too. John Hunt.
Yes, Stoke marginally the better side. Stoke 0, Norwich 0. Norwich should have been ahead on 5 minutes. Josh Sargent clean through. He scuffed his shot horribly past the post. All Stoke really since then, and 3 great saves from Angus Gunn in the Norwich City goal. They have him to thank. Definitely the best of those chances came from Jacob Brown, a close range header, but Gunn kept him out. Disappointing game really. Norwich pressing for the playoffs, look a million miles off really. Stoke 0, Norwich 0.
We do have a goal at Vicarage Road. It came late on. Flo Pollock.
Yes, we do. At the break, Watford lead Wigan 1-0. It took 45 minutes to get the breakthrough, but it was deserved after sustained pressure. Keenan Davis with the goal, a powerful finish, his second goal this week. Half-time, it's Watford 1, Wigan 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Coventry are on a good run. They're unbeaten in their last 8 and they lead at the break at Blackpool by 2-1. Ben Sheaf put them ahead. Jerry Yates equalised from the spot for Mick McCarthy's side, his 12th of the season. But a Curtis Nelson own goal put Mark Robbins' side back ahead. Blackpool beat QPR 6-1 during the week. And QPR are behind again at the break at home to Birmingham. Tahith Chong with that goal. It's Reading 1, Hull 1. Hull had taken the lead. Andy Carroll 7th of the season, equalising for Paul Ince's side. Cardiff are 1-0 up. Rotherham, who've lost their last 2 and into League One earlier. Lincoln 0. Peterborough 3 was how it finished. Accrington 0, MK Dons 1. Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 1. Colby Bishop got the Portsmouth goal, 21 for the season for him. Cambridge 0, Charlton 2. Miles Lieben got Charlton's first, 9 for the season for him. And Jesuran Raksaki got the second, 10 for the season for him. Cheltenham lead Exeter by a 0-0. Could be a real surprise at Derby. They trail at the break by 2-0 against Fleetwood. They're unbeaten in their their last 12 at home, a Paul Warne side. Ipswich lead Shrewsbury by a 1-0. George Hurst with the only goal there. Morecambe 0, Oxford 1. Plymouth are a goal up on bottom of the table, Forest Green Rovers. Port Vale 1, Burton 1. And it's goalless between Wickham and Barnsley. Earlier on in League 2, it finished Bradford 2, Hartlepool 2. As far as the 3 o'clock games are concerned, the game of the day is Carlisle in third against Stevenage in second. Shojo Saka.
Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0. You're calling it game of the day, Mark. It's third versus second, but we're expecting the best liquid football League 2 has to offer. It's turned into glue. Carlisle have had the ball in the net, but it was clearly offside. Other than that, barely a shot on target. Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0.
Elsewhere, AFC Wimbledon 0, Crawley 1. Ashley Nadeson with his 7th of the season there. Harrogate 0, Barrow 0. The leaders Leyton Orient are a goal up on Colchester thanks to George Moncur's 7th of the season. That came from the penalty spot. Northampton unbeaten in their last 5, lead Crewe by a 0-0. Swindon did go 2-0 up at Spotland. Charlie Austin got both those goals, but the home side, bottom of the table, have pulled it back to 2-2. Devante Rodney getting one of those goals, 10 for the season for him. Salford 2, Doncaster 1. Stockport lead Mansfield by a 0-0 thanks to Paddy Madden's 11th of the season. And it's Tranmere 0, Newport 2. Charlie McNeil getting one of those goals for Newport. He's on loan from Manchester United. Goalless between Walsall and Gillingham. In the National League earlier, Woking 0, Chesterfield 1 is a result. At half-time, Barnet 1, Notts County 1. They're still playing at Bromley, where it's goalless between the home side and Wrexham. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, Oldham 0. Eastleigh 2, Altrincham 1. FC Halifax 0, Yeovil 0. Gateshead 0, Torquay 0. Maidenhead lead Maidstone by 2-0. Scunthorpe 2, Wealdstone 0. Goalless between Solihull Moors and Boreham Wood. Southend 1, Aldershot 0. And York 1, Dorking 0. Earlier, Motherwell 2, Rangers 4 is how it finished, and Celtic are in a bit of bother at half-time. Connie.
Yes, they are, and I don't think many people were expecting this scoreline at half-time. Josh Campbell, it was Mark who gave Hibs the leads from the penalty spot, completely against the run of play. It was VAR who ruled that Paul Hanlon had pulled the shirt, of Carol Starfelt. And then it was Campbell who slotted home the resulting spot kick, cool as you like, into the bottom left-hand corner of the goal. And before that, though, you might remember Hibs had Eli Ewan sent off for a high tackle on Cameron Carter-Vickers. It had been all Celtic, those shots from Jota, Maeda, Kyogo. They'd been lining up to open the scoring. But I guess in the second half, they're going to just need to be that little bit more clinical in front of goal if they want to regain that 9-point lead over Rangers because of that scoreline, as you mentioned, at Fir Park a little bit earlier. But at half-time, it is Celtic 0, Hibs 1.
Aberdeen 3, Hearts 0. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 0. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 0. And Livingston 2, Ross County 0 are the other Premiership scores. In the Championship, Hamilton 0, Ayr 2. Goalless between Partick and Dundee. Queen's Park 0, the leaders. Queen's Park, the leaders 0, Inverness 1, Wraith 2, Cove Rangers 0. In League 1, Airdrieonians 4, Peterhead 0, Alloa 1, Clyde 0, Dunfermline 0, FC Edinburgh 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Montrose 0, Queen of the South 1, Falkirk 0. And in Scottish League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, East 5-0. The most surprising score of the day in either England or Scotland probably comes at Dumbarton, who are the League 2 leaders and trail next to bottom Albion Rovers at the break by 4-0. Forfar 1, Annan 1 and Stranraer 0, Stirling 1. France 34, Wales 7 on Wales 12 actually. Just got to try it on Sports Extra right now. Here on 5 Live, Stuart Clarkson in the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested on Tuesday. In a post on his own social media platform, he claims to have seen leaks from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which is yet to comment. The former US president's accused of paying hush money to an alleged mistress. He's called on his supporters to protest if he's detained. Chief Executive of the SNP has resigned in a row about party membership. Party was forced to confirm a large drop in the number of people eligible to vote in its current leadership election, which it previously denied. Peter Murrell, the husband of the outgoing First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, says he was ultimately responsible, even though there was no intent to mislead. A father and 2 sons have been charged with murder after the death of a man in Birmingham. Darren Smith, who was 50, was found with head injuries on Wednesday and later died. Lee O'Brien, who's 53, and his 2 sons Luke and Lewis, both in their 30s, were arrested in Devon on Thursday. And a deal allowing Ukraine to safely export grain from Black Sea ports has been extended. Kyiv says says the agreement will continue for 4 months, while Moscow claims it's agreed to just 60 days.
The Jeddah Corniche circuit. Longitude and latitude 21 degrees 37 minutes 55 seconds north, 39 degrees 6 minutes 16 seconds east, 3.83, 6 miles in length, 27 turns.
F1 live race commentary from the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, Sunday afternoon from 5
on 5 Live.
It's Max Verstappen, takes the checkered flag, wins the opening race of the season.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Details of the Welsh try from Claire Thomas.
They have indeed struck back in France, narrowing the deficit through replacement hooker Bradley Roberts. They've still got a mountain to climb, though. Warren Gatland's men, it's 34 points to 14 at the Stade de France as the hosts look to keep their title hopes alive.
55 minutes away from Ireland going for the Grand Slam against England in Dublin. Chris Jones.
And the great Johnny Sexton, one of the first men out to warm up for Ireland in his last Six Nations game. As we're hearing from Claire, France are just keeping the title race interesting, and make no mistake, this is all in Ireland's hands. They aren't thinking about the title, they're thinking about the slam. It'd be their 4th in history and their 1st here in Dublin. What a weekend it has been across the city of Dublin. St Patrick's Day weekend party in full swing, and it is going to be an incredible atmosphere in under an hour's time.
Does it feel like it's party time, or does it feel like a nervous arena?
To be honest, it's been party time since Thursday. I don't think people have stopped. You know, there's been a bank holiday Friday, then everyone's outside watching the games, that thrilling finish to the Scotland-Italy game, Paris with France and Wales, and people are now starting to make their way to the city. Look, there are a few Irish fans I've spoken to who have that little bit of nervousness, because this is uncharted waters to be such heavy favourites, but the vast majority of the Irish rugby public fully believe in this side.
Been party time since Thursday, and you arrived when?
Thursday, yeah, as well. as did England, as did the press conferences. I know what you're getting at, chappers.
No, just getting my timeline in.
Just getting your facts.
Getting my facts.
What a few days it's been, though. Dublin, never seen Dublin like it, and come 5 o'clock will be some atmosphere.
Second goal for Plymouth, John Akers.
Yeah, they're cruising. They could be handing out a real shoeing here under Stephen Schumacher to Forest Green. It's 2-0. We've only played 49 minutes. A dinked cross from an overlapping centre-back and a header from a wing-back, Barley Mumba, with the second goal for Plymouth. Argyle 2, Forest Green 0.
Goal ruled out at Wolves, Lee Blakeman.
Still Wolves 0, Leeds 1. It was a Podence corner. In it went, into a crowd of players. Lamina bundled it over the line. Offside flag up very quickly. Wolves 0, Leeds 1.
Right then, Ian, you've got 54 minutes to get this half in before Ireland-England.
We should be all right. We should be all right. But on the evidence of that first half, well, the thing is, actually, they've only got a substitution left, haven't they? If there's going to be there's no alterations here at half-time, so we've only got one substitute slot available to both Southampton and to Tottenham.
Chappers, can you ask that lady who's in Paris to stop now sending the scores over?
He's disappeared already. Yeah.
No, I'm here. I was just passing the message on. That's it. We'll leave it at that, shall we?
Oh, yeah, just call it a day for us, Chappers, please. Please.
Well, as we say, once Simon Hooper has blown his whistle, we're waiting to get underway, and then as soon as this game is over, we will be heading straight to Dublin, because at 5 o'clock, Ireland-England live here on 5 Live. But for the time being, as we're underway, now the side has made a change. This is the second half of the Premier League of Southampton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. So Bazzuno is in goal for Southampton, a back four of Walker-Peters, Maitland-Niles, Salisu and Perro now, after they've lost both of their central defenders of Bednarek and Kotchap. You've got Ward-Prowse and Lavia, and then El Yunusi, Stuart Armstrong, Walcott and Shea Adams. As for Tottenham, they too have been affected by injury. They lost Richarlison. There was a suggestion that it might have been a bit of illness, feeling unwell, rather than an injury, as Walcott is played in. Walcott to Adams! What a start to the second half! With inside 60 seconds, Adams has toe-ended the ball in, off the left-hand post, and Southampton have equalised. What a rapid start to the second half, 1-1.
What a fantastic ball through midfield, great ball to Walcott, and a great cross, a well-weighted cross in front of Adams, who I thought was outstanding first half for his effort. And he just taps it into an empty net. What a start for Southampton.
And certainly Tottenham caught cold at the start of the second half, and Adams has, for the first time in Southampton colours, got into double figures. That takes him to 10 for the season. Goal at Molineux, Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Leeds, corner in from the right, nobody picked up. Luke Ayling, free header, back post, woeful celebration, but who cares if you connected to Leeds? Wolves 0, Leeds 2.
I think for Luke Ayling, his last goal might well have been against Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was away at Wolves last March, so his first goal in a year, and that's increased Leeds United's advantage.
I wouldn't mind having a penny for every supporter who has missed that goal.
Well, there are a lot, certainly away towards our right-hand side, but will be unaware that until they look on the giant screen, that is, at either end of the ground, that Southampton are level. Walsall 1, Gillingham 0 is the latest score in League 2. BBC Radio 5 Live. Boy, did Southampton need that, but as you say, it was the ball through from midfield to release Walcott right-hand side.
Yeah, it was a great pass, and Walcott's done brilliant. He's just left it there for Adam to finish, and as I say, you know, they needed it in a wonderful start for them.
Porro plays it in, cut out by Maitland-Niles. There was a challenge on Lavia on Son, just caught him late. The referee had actually played the advantage, but it's 1-1 here at St Mary's, and up towards Walcott, loses out to Longley. Southampton, though, really have come up, fired up at the start of this second half. Stuart Armstrong running forward, edge of the area, might break to El Yunusi. In the end, it's Højbjerg who brings the ball away, and in fact the free kick has gone in favour of Tottenham Hotspur, who've been pegged back. In fact, I haven't even given you the Tottenham team. Forster in goal, Dyer, Romero, Longley, Porro the goal scorer, Højbjerg, Skip and Perisic, Kulusevski, Kane and Son. Goal at the Stadium of Light in the Championship, Chris Colt.
And a goal for Luton as they look to hunt down Middlesbrough in third. An Anthony Patterson error in the Sunderland goal. Alfie Doughty's long-range effort went straight through the goalkeeper. He won't want to see that one back. Sunderland 0, Luton 1.
They have won their last 3 games, and Luton, as Chris quite rightly says, have climbed to 4th in the Championship table. Goal at Brentford, John Southall.
Leicester City are back in it. Brentford 1, Leicester 1. Harvey Barnes with a really good finish inside the area and just dinked it over the goalkeeper Raya into the bottom right hand corner. Big goal for Brendan Rodgers, big goal for Leicester. Brentford 1, Leicester 1.
El Yunusi's done well, left hand side. Adams turns left corner of the area to Ward Prowse, runs away from Ward Prowse, only to Stuart Armstrong on the overlap. Walker Peters fires over the cross right hand side. Southampton have been transformed. Now it's with Perro. Couple of step overs left hand side. Lavia goes infield, 30 yards out from goal. Ward Prowse appealing for handball.
Yeah,
given.
It was definitely handball. IBN had come out with his hands up there.
This is Ward Prowse territory. By the way, we've just got to keep an eye on Adams, because he actually clattered into the post after toe ending that.
He's a tough boy, him.
Ball in.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He's a toughie.
The last.
What I'm surprised the referee hasn't gone back and booked the player for the challenge on Son.
Yes, Lavia.
It was a bad challenge, that.
Yeah, it was late, wasn't it? If I haven't given Blackpool 1, Coventry 3, I have now. Port Vale 1, Burton 2. So Burton have come from behind at Vale Park. But this is Ward Prowse territory, certainly. It's a shade under 30 yards out from goal. He's just shielding the sun from his eyes here at St Mary's, surrounded by a few vocal Southampton supporters here in the commentary
couple
box.
of Herberts behind us, eh?
Hope we didn't say that too loud. It's left of centre. It's 1-1, equalising, I reckon, within 45 seconds of the restart. Southampton through Adams. Ward Prowse. We all know what he's capable of, so there is a great deal of anticipation here inside St Mary's. Ward Prowse, fraction left of centre, hits it right footed and just over the top, skims the roof of the net, out for a goal kick. 1-1.
Yeah, great start. It's got the crowd going as well, which is important.
Another goal at Middlesbrough. Betty Glover.
Borough have gone 2-0 up, and it's 21-year-old Aston Villa loanee Cameron Archer who does so well. He beats 2 defenders and fires it into the top corner. It's Borough 2, Preston 0.
So that will close the gap on Sheffield United to 3 points. The Blades, though, will have a game in hand. They, of course, are focusing on the FA Cup quarter-final. Commentary of that one tomorrow afternoon. An 11:30 start to 5 Live Sport tomorrow. That commentary will be at midday at Bramall Lane. Let's get an update from France, Wales and the Six Nations. Claire Thomas.
Well, the tension has cranked up a notch in Paris because Thomas Williams has just gone over for Wales and the gap has shrunk to 13. That won't cut the mustard if France want to heap the pressure on Ireland. They need to win by more than 20. They've got 10 minutes to make that happen. Welsh tails definitely up right now. France 34, Wales 21.
And you can hear the last 10 minutes of that on Sports Extra. We're into the 7th minute of the second half after lengthy stoppages in the first 45 minutes. Walker-Peters coming forward, collects the ball midway through the Tottenham half. On that right side, back to Stuart Armstrong, who runs forward, the Scottish international. 1-1 here. Aston Villa lead Bournemouth by a goal to 0. Leicester equalising at Brentford. Wolves 0, Leeds United 2. What a scoreline that would be for a side with just 1 win out of their previous 13 for Javi Gracia and his team after taking charge. Here is Perrault. Certainly Southampton have made a positive start to the second half. As ball back with Perrault to Lavia. Then they go back. We're going to nip to Watford. There's been a goal. Flo Pollock.
Bottom of the table, Wigan have equalised. James McLean with the header. Powerful header in off the crossbar. Watford 1, Wigan 1.
Ward-Prowse hits it early and Longley will turn. Spurs in their all ultra blue, playing from left to right as we look. Longley passes the ball forward. And now out of defence, Dyer to Skip, caught in possession. They're appealing for handball there. The referee has played the advantage. El Yunusi to Adams, almost takes a stumble, uses his strength well. Forward ball to Stuart Armstrong. Stuart Armstrong takes it away from Longley, drifts away from the penalty area, now runs forward, can't nick it out towards El Yunusi. The interception from Kulusevski on this near side, the right, and Kulusevski's over the halfway line. Perrault, though, does ever so well to get back at him. And taken over now is Porro on the right-hand side. Sends in the cross. Here is Son. Son looking to turn. Son to Perisic. His shot was blocked. Appeals for handball from the Spurs players. Porro, right-hand side, delivers the cross. And then hooks well over the top and well wide from Perisic. 1-1. Tony.
Yeah, for as well as Southampton have done in these opening minutes and obviously levelled up, which has given them a lot of confidence. They've got to be very, very careful that Tottenham don't. Tottenham got some very, very dangerous players on the break, so they've got to be really solid behind the ball. And they want to win the game, and it's got to that point where they need to win games, but they need to be solid behind the ball when they are attacking.
The paying supporter wouldn't know this, but they're not allowing the restart, so they're clearly checking for VAR for the penalty. Now it comes up on the mid-screen. Meanwhile, there has been a penalty at Celtic. Conor McLaughlin.
Another penalty. This time it's gone in favour of Celtic. It was Jota who got the better of David Marshall in the Hibernian goal and have brought Celtic right back into this one. It's Celtic 1, Hibs 1.
Remember, Rangers beat Motherwell earlier by 4 goals to 2. Ipswich Town, who've won their last 5, are leading Shrewsbury. They're without a win in 4 away from home, and it's now 2-0 at Portman Road to the home side. Ipswich, who were 3rd this morning. Kane offside. Well, on that occasion, in fact, I think it was Harry Kane coming back from an offside position. The linesman raised his flag early.
Yeah, I know. It's the consistency that you want, Ian, really. But even there, he's offside, definitely offside. But Southampton got caught 3-on-3 at the back. Son had come right across onto Maitland-Niles, and it was 3 against 3. They've got to be really careful, for all what they want to do going forward, and you want to get that second goal. But don't leave yourself open for a counter-attack, because, like I say, the quality that Spurs have got, they can pick you off.
That's a former manager of the year in the Premier League, Tony Pulis, who is with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service today, 10 minutes into the second half. And it is 1-1 in a game that affects the top 4 and the relegation positions. Dyer with a clearance up towards Son. Son holds onto it in the centre circle, gets a free kick. There was a little bit of holding there, says referee Simon Hooper. We're going to go back to Wolves. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves have just had a great chance. They still trail 2-0. Sarabia poking wide just of the bottom corner off an Adama Traore cross. Down the other end, Jack Harrison's just had a great shot blocked from the edge of the area. It's a great game this, but Leeds still in front by 2-0.
We talk about those 9 teams down at the bottom, separated by 5 points. Wolves, of course, are in the thick of it. They're just behind Crystal Palace. They're only 3 points outside of the relegation zone. That reading up has Southampton, Bournemouth and West Ham United as the bottom 3. Leeds United would climb to 14th, although themselves only 2 points out of that relegation zone. It is that tight. 12 minutes into the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live. Southampton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Bazunu plays it to Short. Salisu clears. Skip. That was handball. Referee waves it away. I think the referee was unsighted, but Ali Yunusi has released Walcott left-hand side into the penalty area, and he's stubbed it into the ground, and he's chipped it right into the arms of Fraser Forster. Certainly got more of an open field, Tony, this second half.
Well, I think the goal, obviously, Tottenham have got to win the game, haven't they? You know, they've come here to win it. They've got to win it. So they're playing more openly, especially when they get the ball. You know, they're stretched both sides of the pitch. I fingers crossed we'll get some more goals.
Well, you did say that there would be goals. You've been proven right. Spurs, of course, have lost their last 4 away from home, the last 3 without scoring, so at least they found the back of the net as they took the lead through Porro in first half stoppage time. But then within 60 seconds, Adams with the equaliser. Another goal at Middlesbrough. Betty Glover.
Cameron Archer has got his second. It's Middlesbrough 3, Preston 0. Great build-up once again. Archer received the ball on the edge of the box and fires it into the bottom corner. His 6th of the season. Borough are being relentless and have almost definitely killed this game off. It's Middlesbrough 3, Preston 0.
Yeah, you'd think the 3 points are secure at the Riverside. Ball from Kulusevski has gone away from Højbjerg. And now it's with Stuart Armstrong who'll pick it up for Southampton. Armstrong plays the ball back to Walker-Peters over on that far side. We're approaching the hour mark at 5 o'clock. Ireland, England in the Six Nations will be live commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live. Perro on this near side, the left. Perro gets the ball from Adams. Spurs, though, stop him and win the ball back. Another goal at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
3-0 Leeds. Christensen scored with his first touch. He'd been on the pitch for 20 seconds. Fell to him. Back post. Shot across goal. Bottom corner. Surely all over. Wolves 0, Leeds 3.
Wow, what a scoreline for a Leeds United side that have been woeful up until today on their travels. So 3 precious points you would think secured for Javi Gracia and co with that win at Molineux, and it keeps Wolves looking nervously over their shoulder. Here is Kane picking up the ball. Tottenham now, it's 4 against 4. Harry Kane, he's got Kulusevski to his right. Harry Kane goes in alone, right-footed edge of the area, couldn't keep it down. Goal kick, it remains 1-1. We'll go to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
It's still Villa 1, Bournemouth 0, but close to the equaliser just now. Billing free kick just outside the penalty area. Left foot athletic tip over from Martinez. Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
Well,
that's the case I was trying to make. Is irrespective of what you do going forward, you've got to be against top teams. You know, Kane will be disappointed. He's had a free shot just outside the box, which he's put over the bar. Usually he finishes, or he's got the quality to finish that. But Southampton, they can't overplay, Ian. You know, they've done really well this opening 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, by getting little setups and getting runners in behind Tottenham's back 5. And that's what they have to continue to do.
Here is Ward-Prowse. Remains 1-1 at a walking pace. Ward-Prowse in the midfield now with Lavia, just
give it to him,
trotting his way forward. El Yunusi tries to thread it through to Walcott. That was cut out by Dyer. Referee gives a free kick in favour of Tottenham. We'll go to Brentford. John Southall.
Brentford 1, Leicester 1, but Leicester, you sense, just fancy this. Brazilian Tete slalomed into the penalty area. His shot blocked. Pratt and Vardy just about to come on. Brentford have a corner. Brentford 1, Leicester 1.
Salford 3, Doncaster Rovers 1 is the latest score in League 2. So we've been playing for just over an hour here on the South Coast. Here is Romero. Sent off recently for the 3rd time in his Tottenham career against Milan. Ball up towards Harry Kane, gets away from Maitland-Niles, plays it midway through the Southampton half to Højbjerg. Now out to Longley. Perisic coming in off that left touch line, sends over the cross from the left, headed away by Salisu, drops on the edge of the area, not dealt with by Adams, falls to Harry Kane, side onto goal, gets the return ball back by Son, and there was Lavia to break it up. And now coming forward, referee says get up to Lavia, no foul, Tottenham win the ball back. Kulusevski, right hand side, Kulusevski strikes the chest of Salisu. Southampton get the ball away. Fourth goal of the afternoon at Molineux, Lee Blakeman.
Wolves have got one back, and it's a bizarre goal. Meslier caught off his line, it fell for Johnny, who beat him from about 40 yards out. Wolves have one back, Wolves 1, Leeds 3.
Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1, Leicester City 1. 1-1 here, Harry Kane with his back to goal, in towards Son. There was Salisu, just stepped forward to clear the ball away for Southampton. Certainly you can feel what this game means to the Southampton supporters around us, urging them on. They're a lot more vocal in this second half as Walcott, right hand side, finds El Yunusi. El Yunusi to Adams in the penalty area, closed down very quickly. Sliding challenge from Skip.
Yeah, Adams has got to do it a lot quicker than that. But his attitude, Ian, you just can't fault his attitude. He sprinted, 40-50 yards then to recover and make a tackle, although he looks as though he's injured now.
He was flat on his feet, but a great attitude, as you say, the work ethic to run back from the penalty area, I don't know, 6 yards inside his own half to get that sliding challenge in on Kulusevski to curb the counter-attack. 63 minutes played. Adams has actually stayed down and is now getting treatment, so they'll be hoping that he's okay.
Yeah, you don't want him coming off, because he has shown so much energy and enthusiasm, and he's put in a lot of miles for the team. You know, a lot of supporters don't see things like that, but the kid has worked really, really relentlessly hard for his team.
Let's get an update from the France-Wales game in the Six Nations. Claire Thomas.
France have a fifth in Paris through Damien Penaud, and the gap has grown once more. They'd been peppering at the Welsh try line, and the winger was eventually released on an overlap to stroll in for his brace. There are just 2 minutes left to play, with the conversion still to come. And then, against all of their instincts, this mightily impressive French outfit will sit back and cheer on England in Dublin. The conversion is good. It's 41-21 in Paris, 90 seconds to play. France have done all they can.
41-21. I'm not too sure you wanted to hear that from Claire, Tony.
Please.
A shake of the head from the Welshman to my left says it all. But Ireland-England will be live on 5 Live from 5 o'clock. You can also listen on BBC Sounds. We're available on the World Service here today at St Mary's. 1-1, and we've got 26 minutes remaining of normal time. Adams is back on his feet. Kulusevski's played it on the right-hand side. Kulusevski sends over the cross. Harry Kane with a header, waiting, lurking and finishing, and he restores Tottenham's lead. Southampton 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2, and Harry Kane loves scoring against Southampton, and he's at it once more.
Yeah, it's a fantastic cross to the back post, and Kane, I think, has planted himself up against Maitland-Niles, who isn't the biggest, and Harry's just jumped really early, used him to stay in the air, and once it comes to him, Ian, you know, there's only one end. That ball hit the back of the net.
Super header. It was a super cross from that right-hand side, and Harry Kane from inside the 6-yard box is definitely not going to miss those.
Nah, he's got himself. He's pulled in between the centre half and the full back. What again, Ian? It's basics, but the defenders there should be putting him under so much more pressure than what they have done. He's just got a free header at the back post.
He's been involved now in 18 goals in 16 games against Southampton, 12 goals and 6 assists, and indeed, before today, each of his last 14 goals for Spurs had all been scored in London, but he ends that. His last one outside of the capital in the Premier League was at Brighton, back on the south coast, and he restores Spurs' lead 2-1 with 23 24 minutes remaining, and Southampton have got to come back for a second time this afternoon as Ward-Prowse on the run tries to flick a header into the box, but cleared away by Romero. Southampton since the end of August, it's sorry reading for their home form. 1 win at home in 10, 1 win, 2 draws and 7 defeats. As Harry Kane is fouled by Lavia, and that'll be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. There's been a goal at Millwall in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
Wow, what a brilliant goal this is from Huddersfield Town. Millwall 0, Huddersfield 1. Ben Jackson just working so hard down the left. He popped the ball into the near post, and there was Danny Ward just to scoop it over George Long in the Lions goal. Millwall stunned. Millwall 0, Huddersfield 1.
Talking of poor form at home, Bristol Rovers, without a win in 5 at home, have now fallen further behind. Bristol Rovers 0, Portsmouth 2 is a latest score in League One. Tony Pulis, close your ears. We're going back for the full-time score with Claire Thomas from France-Wales.
Well, France have done all they can as it finishes in Paris and is over to Andy Farrell's Ireland in Dublin, who hosts England next. France have 20 points in the table. Ireland have 19, so a single point in the standings will see them clinch the title. That's all they need, and full-time score in Paris is 41 points to the French, 28 to the Welsh. They took a bonus point of their own, so all eyes turn to the Aviva.
Thank you very much, Claire. Yep, the Aviva in Dublin from 5 o'clock. You'll hear it here on BBC Radio 5 Live. St Johnstone have equalised at Kilmarnock in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 1 is a latest score. Just as a reminder that Celtic are still being held by the 10 men of Hibernian after Rangers won earlier by 4 goals to 2. Aston Villa 1, Bournemouth 0, Brentford 1, Leicester 1. What's the latest at Molineux? Lee Blakeman.
Leeds are still in front by 3 goals to 1, but Wolves should have another one back. Adama Traore, ball in from the right. Jimenez 3 yards out. Brilliant block by Meslier to keep the scoreline. Wolves 1, Leeds 3, but do not rule Wolves out yet.
Well, when we said that both sides have got one more opportunity to make a substitution, it looks like it's going to be a triple change for Southampton. So Ruben Selles has got to go for it. It's his last chance to see what he can conjure up as Ward-Prowse from long range, low, easily saved by Forster. Villa Park now, Pat Murphy.
Still 1-0 to Villa, but they should have had the equaliser just now. Bournemouth. Solanke's set free, advancing on the keeper, perhaps a touch too much, but also Mings did really well to crowd him out, but he ought to have equalised. Villa 1, Bournemouth 0.
And I can tell you that Alcaraz and also Mara is going to be, that's 2 of the 3 changes. We'll just wait to see who's going to be the third and final one at this stage for Southampton, and it's Sulemana. So the Ghanaian winger is going to be coming on. So attacking changes being made, and in many ways they've got to throw caution to the wind in that respect, Tony.
Yeah, it's no good holding back now. How long we got left, Ian?
We've got
20 minutes.
20 minutes left.
Yeah, may as well go for it now.
So El Yunusi is one of the players coming off. Whilst this triple change takes place, another goal at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
I said don't rule Wolves out. Wolves 2, Leeds 3. Clearance fell to Mateus Cunha, edge of the area, put in a shot, and it deflected past Meslier. Molineux believes we've got 16 minutes to go. Wolves 2, Leeds 3.
So El Yunusi has come off for Sulemana. Carlos Alcaraz has come on, and that is Stuart Armstrong who makes way. And then the other change is Shea Adams, who's coming off. He got the equaliser to make it 1-1 before Spurs went back in front, and Sekou has come on to replace Adams. So that is the third and final change. They've used all 5 substitutes now, have Southampton. Of course, they weren't helped with the enforced changes to their defence in the first half. So 5:30, Chelsea-Everton. The first half of commentary will be on Sports Extra, then the second half after the rugby on 5 Live. Team news from Stamford Bridge, Henry Moran.
3 wins on the bounce and things all feeling a little happier for Graham Potter, who makes 3 changes from last week's win at Leicester. Benoit Badiashile, Reece James, Christian Pulisic all in for Cucurella, Loftus-Cheek and Mudryk. Also placed on the bench for N'Golo Kante, featuring for the first time since August. Everton still well amongst those battling for survival. Name an unchanged side after last week's 1-0 win at home to Brentford.
The League Two leaders, Leyton Orient, have got a second goal at home to Colchester. Rochdale, who were 2-0 down at home to Swindon. Bottom of the table, Rochdale now leads Swindon by 3-2. Port Vale 1, Burton 3 is the latest score in League One. And it's Cheltenham 2, Exeter 1. And in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1 is the latest score. Walker-Peters, right-hand side, sends over the cross. Mara tries to head it. Headed away by Romero. Played back then by Sulemana. Shot fired in by Perrault. Beaten out at his right-hand post by Forster, diving away towards his right. I think it was probably going wide, but he couldn't afford to take the risk.
He can't take the chance. It was a good strike, actually, Ian.
18 minutes remain. Time running out for Southampton. Harrogate lead Barrow by a 0-0 in League Two. Barrow, who had been 5 unbeaten before making that trip from Cumbria to North Yorkshire. Son's done well with his footwork.
Yeah, great feat.
Now with Skip to come forward, holds off Sulemana, fouled by Sulemana, trip from behind, free kick. Skip stays down. That'll be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. Is this where Antonio Conte now will hope the side can manage the closing stages?
Well, they look as though they've dropped off a little bit anyway. I think there's a feeling within, we've got Tottenham supporters close to us that sometimes they go in front, Ian, and then they just drop off. They don't go for that killer extra goal, and they're quite happy to play patiently and play behind the ball. But that's the way, Italian managers, a lot of the Italian managers, especially Antonio's age and era, have been taught to play. You can see Olberg midfield now just telling everybody just to steady things down.
Yeah,
they'll want to keep the ball, they'll want to keep it, they want to take the pace out of the game, and when they get the opportunity to break, they'll break.
Well, Harry Kane has lifted the ball forward to Kulusevski, holds onto it, right hand side of the penalty area, out of the box he goes. You've got 2 players to deal with here as Kulusevski, and in front of that travelling support he wins a corner kick. Swindon have equalised, by the way. Rochdale 3, Swindon 3 and Blackpool 1, Coventry 4.
Yeah, that's the way. They'll take their time, they'll pick their moments. You just hope for Southampton's sake that they don't get another goal, because it would kill the game then.
Well, since Southampton's return to the Premier League in 2012, Southampton have won just 2 of 10 Premier League games against Tottenham, and they may well be heading for a 6th defeat in that run that it would still make sorry reading. So corner kick for Tottenham Hotspur, leading by 2-1. Son to take it, right hand side, right footed, flicked on, it's going to come out to Højbjerg, left corner of the area. Højbjerg, right footed, plays it back in. Son back pedals just outside the penalty area, 8 yards up from the byline. Back then to Kulusevski, kills in another inviting ball, downward header only as far as Perisic, down into the ground. That'll win the game for Tottenham Hotspur. 3rd goal and the 3 points are secure. First goal for the club for Perisic, and there are still no home comforts for Southampton.
Yeah, it's a great finish. He's hit it into the ground and it's ended up in the far corner of the net. It's bounced up and gone into the top corner almost. Again, it comes from a set and phase from a free kick, Ian. And Southampton looked really, really disorganised there, with people on the edge of the box free. I think that kills the game, Ian, for me.
Yeah, certainly it does. I think looking at the reaction of a lot of Southampton supporters now who are heading for the exits, they are leaving early, and 2 home wins all season, the worst home record in the Premier League, and they are heading for yet another defeat, and it looks very, very bleak for Southampton. But as for Tottenham Hotspur, in their pursuit of a top 4 finish, after Newcastle's win last night, they have responded, and the 3 points you would think are surely secure. What about Aston Villa Bournemouth? Pat Murphy.
It's still 1-0 to Aston Villa, but a heartwarming moment now. David Brooks has come on, gifted midfield player for Bournemouth, and the Aston Villa supporters, to their great credit all around the ground, are applauding Brooks It's 532 days since he last got on the pitch for Bournemouth. He's beaten cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma. The club gave him a new contract in the summer, to their great credit. And let's hope that this is a new chapter in the career of David Brooks. Still Villa 1, Bournemouth 0. But at moments like this, it makes you realise there's more to football than just 3 points.
Here, here. What a wonderful story, Tony.
Yeah, well said, Pat. You know, and he's a tremendous player as well, Brooks.
Yes.
He had tremendous ability, and he's got tremendous spirit to fight, Harry, and absolutely fantastic.
14 minutes remain. BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service. Tottenham Hotspur then leading by 3-1. Maitland-Niles! What a goal that would have been. He's hit that from 30 yards, right-footed, and Forster, flying away to his left, has pulled up a super save. Corner kick. We're going back to Villa Park. There's been a goal. Pat Murphy.
Second goal for Aston Villa, scored by Jacob Ramsey, wriggling his way through on the right to the penalty area. Not a good enough tackle laid on him. Side-footed him in under the body of Neto. Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
Corner kick from Ward-Prowse, right-hand side, headed out by Longley. Elsewhere, remember, Brentford 1, Leicester City 1, Wolves 2, Leeds United 3, Leeds were 3-0 up. Ward-Prowse chips over the cross from the right-hand side. Mara is there. Walcott gets the goal back. Walcott tucks it in from close range. And with 13 minutes remaining, there is still hope for Southampton. Southampton 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3.
It's a cross into the box, and the lad's risen so well and headed it back across. And Walcott could do nothing but score. Gives him a great chance. I couldn't see it coming, Ian.
Well, his last goal, Tony, was against Fulham in May 2021. He's gone 26 games over the last 2 seasons without a goal. And we said earlier on, his record against Spurs for Arsenal, 19 appearances in North London derbies and 5 goals. And that goal stands. So there might have just been a little bit of a check. Well, every goal's checked, I guess, with VAR. But it's Saints 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3, just as it is at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
This game is absolutely bonkers. It should be 3-3. Sarabi has just moved into the area, put his shot in. Great save by Meslier to keep it at Wolves 2, Leeds 3.
Sulemana comes forward. The rugby's on its way. Sulemana finds Mara. Mara with the assist. Now looking for the goal. Gets the shot away. Forster with a save. And then a second save by Forster. Well, Southampton looked dead and buried at 3-1. They found resolve.
Oh no, we've got a couple of more players down injured here, Ian. Great save by Foster. Foster's pulled out 2 magnificent saves in the last 5 minutes.
The one from Maitland-Niles was a worldie.
Yes, yeah.
Let's get an update from Brentford. John Southall.
8 minutes to play. Brentford 1, Leicester 1. This could go either way. Leicester have just had a great spell. Castagna with a shot blocked 10 yards out. Now the turn at Brentford. Brentford 1, Leicester 1.
Cheltenham 3, Exeter 1, Rochdale 3, Swindon 4 now is the latest score in League 2. And you are up to date. There is a stoppage in play, and they've used all their substitutes at Southampton, so this potentially could be a problem.
Yeah, it's Walcott down who's injured, but you wouldn't want him to be doing this and you don't want to break the play.
Yeah.
You know, they've got the momentum at the moment, Southampton.
Let's get an update from Middlesbrough. Betty Glover.
Still Middlesbrough 3, Preston 0. The rain is hammering down here. Preston very close to pulling one back. Great cross from Fernandez, lands to Cannon, whose volley looked like it was going into the far corner, but Stefan in goal gets a hand to it. Great save. Middlesbrough 3, Preston 0.
Walcott's going to be able to continue. I'm conscious we've got the rugby coming up at 5, so I'll give you the latest scores. Well, the result in the Scottish Premiership was Motherwell 2, Rangers 4. Latest scores: Aberdeen 3, Hearts 0. Celtic. Remember, Hibs were down to 10 men in the 24th minute. Hibs took the lead. Celtic still being held 1-1 at home against Hibs. Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1. Kilmarnock 1, St Johnstone 1. Livingston lead Ross County by 2-1. I'll give you the latest scores in League 2, League 1 and the Championship as well. We've got 10 minutes remaining. Newport, incidentally, have now gone 3-0 up at Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere 0, Newport 3 in League 2. No other goals to tell you about as Kulusevski is down at the moment. Lavia plays it in. Dyer comes out and clatters the ball away downfield, and there is going to be a stoppage in play. So referee Simon Hooper is going to allow Kulusevski to come on. That gives me an opportunity to give you the latest scores in League 2. Bradford City 2, Hartlepool United 2 was a result in the early kick-off at Valley Parade. Andy Cook got both goals for Mark Hughes' side, who still remain in playoff contention. latest scores: Wimbledon 0, Crawley 1. Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0, Harrogate 1, Barrow 0, Leyton Orient the leaders lead Colchester 2-0, Northampton 1, Crewe 0, Rochdale 3, Swindon 4, Salford 3, Doncaster Rovers 1, Stockport lead Mansfield by a goal to nil. I've told you about Tranmere 0, Newport County 3, and Walsall, who without a win in 12 are leading at the Bescott Stadium against Gillingham by a goal to nil. Our featured game in League One is at Home Park. John Akers.
Argyle cruising, Argyle 2, Forest Green 0, Bolton and Mumba with the goals. They'll cut the gap at the top to 1 point to Sheffield Wednesday, but Wednesday with 2 games in hand. Plymouth 2, Forest Green 0.
I'll give you those latest scores in League One after we've heard of us sending off on a dramatic afternoon at Molineux. Lee Blakeman.
Wolves are down to 10. Johnny late studs up on the ankle of Ayling. Referee gave him a yellow, was called to the screen by VAR, had a long look, cancelled the yellow, gave him a red. Wolves down to 10 and trailing by 3 goals to 2 at home to Leeds.
We're just over 15 minutes away from Ireland, England in the Six Nations, live on BBC Radio 5 Live and the BBC Sounds app, with 8 minutes remaining of normal time here. Sulemana on the left, this near side as Southampton play from right to left. Sulemana, what a run that was. Eventually he was upended and stopped on the edge of the box, but the substitutes have certainly worked. Sulemana, Mara, all trying to make their presence felt. Here is another one of them. Alcaraz challenge. Referee says he got the ball.
Yeah, it was a good challenge, but the substitutes, as you say, Ian, they have made a difference. They've brought some pace and energy to the front line.
If I didn't have a headache this morning, I'm going to have one tonight with these lads. There's a penalty at Sunderland. Chris Coles.
Penalty to Sunderland and a chance to equalise, trailing by 1 goal to nil. But Amid Diallo, the second half sub, has the chance to level things at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland have been good since Luton took the lead, and this is a chance just to dent Luton's recent charge. We're waiting. Here comes Diallo. Little stutter, strikes it left-footed into the top corner, and we're level. Sunderland 1, Luton 1.
Yeah, that will stop Luton's winning run as they look to try and keep on the tails of Middlesbrough, who winning at home against Preston at the Riverside. Pape Sarr is going to be coming on very, very soon for Tottenham. Their final change, their final opportunity to make a change, I should say. 7 minutes remain. Spurs leading by 3 goals to 2. In fact, there's going to be a double change because of that. It's going to be Emerson Royale who's also going to be coming on with Pape Sarr as Southampton, with every outfield player in the half away towards our left-hand side. Saints looking for an equaliser. Walcott stopped by Longley, plays the ball towards Son. Let's go back to Celtic. Conor McLaughlin.
It's Celtic 2, Hibs 1. This is what they do, Ian. About 10 minutes to go, not even. It was diving header into the back of the net past David Marshall. Put Celtic ahead in this match for the very first time. Celtic 2, Hibs 1.
Thanks, Connie. Yeah, Rangers, remember, had earlier beaten Motherwell by 4 goals to 2. So with that Celtic lead, it's going to be a case of as you were. 9 points the difference between Celtic and Rangers at the top of the Scottish Premiership. 6 minutes remain of normal time. I told you I was going to give you the latest scores in League One. The result in the early kick-off at Sincil Bank was Lincoln City 0, Peterborough 3. These are the latest scores: Accrington 0, MK Dons 1. Bristol Rovers heading to yet another defeat at home, trailing to Portsmouth by 2 goals to 0. Cambridge 1, Charlton 2. Cheltenham 3, Exeter City 1. Derby County 0, Fleetwood Town 2. So that will be the end of Derby's 12-match unbeaten run at home in League One. Ipswich 2, Shrewsbury 0. Morecambe 0, Oxford United 1. Skip is shown a yellow card here. Plymouth 2, Forest Green 0. Port Vale 2, Burton 3. No goals between Wickham and Barnsley. Back to Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Still Villa 2, Bournemouth 0, and it's all Villa now as Bournemouth chase the game. Neto has made superb saves from Watkins and Mings. I wouldn't at all be surprised if a third is in the offing. It's Villa 2, Bournemouth 0.
Hobbling and getting back to his feet is Lavia. Skip was shown the yellow card there. Tottenham wait to make the double change. We've got 5 minutes remaining of normal time plus stoppage time, and there's just the 1 goal in it. Still Leeds United, who were 3-0 up, now playing against the 10 men. I tell you what, Spurs are going to make the double change. Let's get a taster of what's to come at 5 o'clock in Dublin. Chris Jones.
The players are in the changing room after their warm-up, ready to leave the tunnel. The band is ready to start up. The flames are flying. The crowd is building in. This could be one of the greatest days in Irish rugby history, but surely England have a reaction after that Twickenham humiliation last weekend. 13 minutes to go.
You certainly won't want to miss that live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Only now has that double change happened. Porro and Kulusevski have come off. Kulusevski himself was a substitute for the unwell Richarlison early doors. Pape Sarr replaces him. Emerson Royale comes on for Porro. So like for like with the change of wing back, and then just ashore at the midfield, I guess, Tony.
Well, they've brought some pace on as well, so they might be thinking about that as well, Ian.
Ward-Prowse hits the free kick over the head of Walcott, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. There's been another goal. It's at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
To Aston Villa, Buendia, glancing header from a corner. How the diminutive Buendia beat the succession of towering defenders is something that Gary O'Neill would want to ask subsequently. But more importantly, it's Villa 3. Bournemouth 0.
And here are the latest scores in the Championship. Blackpool 1, Coventry City 4, Middlesbrough leading Preston North End by 3-0, moving within 3 of that second automatic promotion spot behind Sheffield United. Sheffield United, though, will have a game in hand. Millwall 0, Huddersfield Town 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Birmingham 1, Reading 1, Hull City 1, Rotherham 0, Cardiff City 1, goalless between Stoke City and Norwich City. Sunderland, as we heard, with that equaliser, 1-1 at home to Luton Town, and Watford 1, Wigan Athletic 1 is a latest score at Vicarage Road. We've got 3.5 minutes remaining. Our featured game in League 2 is at Carlisle. Shojo Saka.
Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0. Christian Dennis has gone close for Carlisle in the last couple of minutes, but it's been very disappointing from both sides in the attacking third. Carlisle 0, Stevenage 0.
Morecambe have got a late equaliser at home to Oxford United. Morecambe 1, Oxford United 1. That will spoil Liam Manning's first game in charge of Oxford United. So Villa lead Bournemouth 3-0, Brentford 1, Leicester 1, Southampton 2, Tottenham Hotspur 3 here, Wolves 2, Leeds 3. Remember though that Wolves are down to 10 men, and there are 7 minutes of added on time at Molineux. Header on towards Kane, headed away though by Salisu for Southampton. We're still playing in normal time. We've got 2.5 minutes of normal time, and then we'll find out how much added on time there will be here. So Southampton still have a lot to fight for.
Yeah, very much so. They've got to push people forward now. I think they can push the full-backs on. They've got to take a chance. Last 10 minutes of the game, if he puts 5 minutes up in, or 12 minutes of the game, they've really got to push up and push on.
Miserable day for Preston's been completed by Bamboo Diaby being sent off as they trail 3-0 at Middlesbrough. 2 minutes of normal time remaining. This is the Premier League. It's live on the BBC, the World Service and 5 Live, also available on the BBC Sounds app. Spurs looking to try and go what will be 4 points back in front of Newcastle United after their late win at Nottingham Forest last night, and Southampton trying to give themselves a precious point. Ideally they probably wanted 3 here at home, but the woeful home form is going to cost them dear, I fear.
Yeah, there's people, they've got, what's his name, Mara on at the moment, who's a centre forward, and he's coming out to play on the wings. He's got to stay between the goals. If they do get crosses in the box, they need someone in there to finish them off, Ian. And he's just getting dragged outside, and there's no one in the box at all if they get in those crossing positions. So they've got to fill the box now. They've got to take chances. Got to get people in the box in. Here we go.
Sulemana, left-hand side, plays it back. Scooped forward by Perrault. They're appealing for handball. That's waved away by Højbjerg as the ball then with Perrault goes back towards Lavia. We're inside the last 70 seconds of normal time. Ball played forward by Maitland-Niles. Walcott makes the run. He's reduced the arrears. Walker-Peters with a cross, right-hand side, over the head of Mara. Drops towards Alcaraz, hits it on the volley. Cannons off a Spurs player behind for a corner.
Yeah, well played. They switched play quickly. They got in a good crossing position. They got a good cross in. And he's unlucky, actually. It's a great volley, and it struck a Tottenham player. I think it was goal-bound.
Romero's gone down at the moment. Wickham 0, Barnsley 1. So Barnsley got a late goal. Tranmere 1, Newport 3 is a latest score in League 2, and Bristol Rovers are down to 10 men now. Gerald Quansah has been sent off at home as they trail 2-0 against Portsmouth. Southampton are going to leave it late then if they're to salvage anything from this game. Ward-Prowse with a corner kick, right-hand side, searching into the penalty area. Drops to the edge of the area. Sarr is challenged.
Oh, penalty!
Down. Referee's giving a penalty to Southampton. Simon Hooper is given a penalty. Late drama at St Mary's. Tottenham protest. The Tottenham players surround referee Simon Hooper.
Both officials indicated there will be a minimum of 5 minutes.
It was Sulemana, I think, who was the player who was caught by Pape Sarr. It was a wild lunge. Oh no, it was Maitland-Niles actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who's going to take the penalty? It's got to be Ward-Prowse, surely.
Well, he's missed against Brighton and Leicester this season.
He's got a goalkeeper who's worked with him for the last, 4 or 5 years, so he'll know him well.
He certainly will know him well.
What are you going for,
Ward-Prowse to score. The decision will be being checked. It was a wild kick by Sarr. So VAR is looking at it. It was a wild kick by Pape Sarr just inside the area. So
he's caught him.
The fourth official, the VAR, is Simon Long. He'll be looking at it at Stockley Park, and the penalty is awarded. So Ward-Prowse, who's had mixed fortunes from the penalty spot this season, waits with a ball tucked underneath his left arm. Throughout all of this, we're into injury time now. I actually haven't seen how much stoppage time there's been added on already.
Minutes.
Was it 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So we're into the 5 minutes already.
Ian, don't you trust me?
After the last 24 hours, no. Ward-Prowse waits. This is 5 Live. Southampton are currently trailing by 3-2, and the responsibility from James Ward-Prowse.
It's enormous pressure on the boy now.
He's scored 16 of 22 penalties in his career. But as we say, he's missed against Brighton and Leicester this season. Ward-Prowse.
I'll tell you what, Foster looks big goal.
He does look big. Huge frame of Forster. Ward-Prowse now waits. Not the longest run up for Ward-Prowse away towards our left-hand side. Ward-Prowse right-footed, scores! What a goal that could be for Southampton. Right-footed, top right-hand corner to level it 3-3.
I tell you what a great penalty that was, Ian. That was absolutely fantastic. With all the pressure that's on him, against a goalkeeper he knows, what a penalty.
What a penalty, top right-hand corner. And Tottenham Hotspur, who remember were 3-1 up, have now seen that wiped out, and Southampton have fought back. 3-3 it is here. Now it was Wolves 2, Leeds 3, but there's been a late goal at Molyneux. Lee Blakeman.
It's all over. Wolves 2, Leeds 4. Wolves lost it in the midfield. Rodrigo on as a sub, through on goal, beat the keeper. Wild celebrations on the Leeds bench. We've got just a matter of seconds left. Wolves 2, Leeds 4.
Full time at Brentford. John Southall.
Brentford 1, Leicester 1. Important point this for Leicester. Ends their run of defeats. Just 3 shots on target. Jensen with a deflected first in the first half for Brentford. Harvey Barnes with a dinked equaliser. Shandon Baptiste sent off late on for Brentford. It made no difference. Brentford 1, Leicester 1.
Full time at Villa Park. Pat Murphy.
Villa 3, Bournemouth 0. Louise, Ramsey, Buendia the scorers, but at 1-0 it could have gone anyway, and Bournemouth missed 2 good chances then. Final score, Villa 3, Bournemouth 0.
There's been a goal at Middlesbrough. Betty Glover.
Borough have made it 4-0 in extra time, and the Riverside is absolutely bouncing. Marcus Forss with the tap in after a great run from Ryan Giles, who squared it off to him. Borough cuts the gap as it just goes full time. They're now 3 points behind second place Sheffield United, cranking up the pressure in the battle for automatic promotion. Chuba Akpom opened the scoring before Villaloni. Cameron Archer scored 2 after the break. Marcus Forss makes it 4. It is Borough 3, Preston 0.
I would imagine that Ward-Prowse equaliser from the penalty spot would have been cheered in Tyneside for Newcastle United, bearing in mind the top 4.
Yes.
Newcastle are 2 points behind Tottenham with 2 games in hand.
Yep. So it opens it right up for Newcastle now, Ian.
And down at the bottom 3, Southampton 23 points, Bournemouth 24, West Ham in the relegation zone 24, Everton 25, Leicester 25, Forest 26, Leeds 26, Wolves 27, Palace 27, all the way up to 12. So something to cling to maybe for Southampton when you consider they were 3-1 down. The 5 minutes of added on time by my watch are now up. We've got brilliant sunshine here, and Southampton, full credit to Ruben Sellers, that triple change made a difference for them.
Yeah, it brought some life to the front line, and they've played really well. The three lads who have come on have really made a difference. You know, I couldn't see it, Ian, not for a million years. They've done absolutely fantastic to come back into this game.
Walsall lead Gillingham 2-0, so that'll be their first win in 13. We're going to go to Sunderland now. Chris Coles.
Sunderland 1, Luton 1, the end of Luton's winning run. It looked good for them when Alfie Doughty put them ahead after half-time. Diallo's penalty with 3 minutes to play secured a point for Sunderland, deserved for their endeavour. Sunderland 1, Luton 1.
Kane coming forward in towards Son. Son inside right channel of the penalty area. Drum comes back out of the penalty box towards Sarr. Sarr plays it towards Perisic just outside the box. Perisic has already scored once. Ball played out towards that far side. Cross from the left. Kneed away by Maitland-Niles. Sarr down into the ground, and that goes off target and a goal kick. Colchester have got a goal back at the League Two leaders. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester 1, Rochdale 4, Swindon 4 is a latest score in League Two also, and we're now into 6.5 minutes of stoppage time. The rugby's coming up. We said we'd be close.
Very close.
Go on then, give us your thoughts then before we go to the rugby.
I think second half has been really, really good. The first half was slowy and a little bit pedantic. I could only see Tottenham winning the game, and that, you know, that's football for you, but you've got to give massive credit to Southampton. This will be a great point for them.
It certainly will. Leyton Orient 2, Colchester 2. The leaders were 2-0 up, but Colchester have clawed something back. What's happening at Molineux? Lee Blakeman.
It's all kicking off. It's still Wolves 2, Leeds 4. There was a VAR check on that goal for a possible foul. Leeds is fourth. The referee had a long look at the screen, gave the goal eventually despite being called over, and then it all kicked off on the Wolves bench. Mateus Nunes, who's on there, has had to be restrained by Diego Costa and literally dragged down the tunnel. Still playing. Wolves 2, Leeds 4.
Because of the rugby, all the reaction will be on the 5 Live Football Daily from today's games. Commentary to come tomorrow in the combination of the FA Cup and the Premier League, as Kane over the halfway line gets a free kick in favour of Tottenham, and Harry Kane says everybody's got to go forward, and those blue shirts charge forward now. We're in the 8th minute of added on time.
I don't know where he's got the time from, to be honest.
So Emerson Royale is going to take it. This has got to be the last bit of the action. Don't go anywhere. We've got Ireland's pursuit of the Grand Slam coming up from Dublin Live on 5 Live. But inside the Southampton half, Emerson to take the free kick. Doesn't even hit the penalty area. Drifts to the edge of the box. Dyer was up there. Morrow heads it away. Drops towards Perisic, left-hand side. Fires over the cross. The header! Oh! Just over the top and wide. Threw himself at that. And that was long late. There is the final whistle. Thanks to Tony Pulis here at St Mirren. It's finished. Southampton 3, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Mark. Chris Jones at the Aviva Stadium with Matt Dawson and Jamie Heaslip.